I don't know where to begin, but I got so many things to say, and I've been informing you guys on the community section about the Snyder Cut. I want to talk a little bit more with you guys. Let me just take a quick break. You guys, stay right there. I'm right here. I'm just taking a quick break. I just got to go to the bathroom. I got a lot to say, guys. Be right back. Like I said, guys, I got a lot to say, so I'm gonna get into it. Oh yeah. Turn on the lights. It's a rainy day today. It's raining, so it's one of those days where I'm indoors, and I want to talk a lot about the Snyder Cut, restoring the Snyderverse, and so much more. The truth's coming out, and I do believe, like I said before, that the Snyderverse will be restored. I don't care what anybody says. I know that Zack Snyder said that Warner Brothers doesn't. The Warner Brothers Pictures, and the executives at Warner Brothers Pictures don't want him. Okay, but that doesn't stop him from doing films for HBO Max originals. You got to understand that those executives don't want him. But see, the big war and rift is, and this has always been that way, okay? But and it's never been that Tony Emmerich, gave Zack Snyder the opportunity to make his movie and finish it. It was never that. Toby Emmerich never wanted this movie to see the light of day. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. Hold on a second. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so I'm just gonna make some food while I'm talking to you guys. Okay, and if you guys got comments, that's okay as well. All right, you can leave your comments. I'll come to your comments. I just want to say my piece here before I move on to other things. Okay, so I'm just saying. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, let's just get this out of the way. Okay, because a lot of people are confused. Go check out the Culture Nerd. Let me tell you the channels to go check out. The Culture Nerd, Lightcast, Sybil Abdul Inc., Chris Wong, and Pink Pong Flicks. Okay, you gotta check out YouTube channels to get the right information. Check those channels. Okay, there's a lot of people on Twitter who are very negative and they're being very pessimistic about things, and they're also being very vitriolic. They're saying F Warner Brothers and all this stuff, and that is not called for. All right, people talking about boycotting Warner Brothers' next set of movies. Some people are talking about canceling their HBO Max subscriptions. These are non-productive things. So anybody who's saying that to you, rebuke them and tell them that's how we're going to proceed, and that's not what I'm going to do. Okay? They're even trying to run a day of hashtagging and trending where they talk about boycotting Warner Brothers or canceling HBO Max. That is non-productive. Now, the hashtag Toxic Warner Brothers, first of all, that's a good hashtag because it's true. WB, and I am specifically talking about WB that is headed under Ann Sarnoff, Toby Emmerich, and Walter Hamada, those guys, okay, and in the background, Jeff Johns, they are toxic. Okay, that's just what it is. They're toxic. Not Walter Hamada. Let me give it. Walter Hamada is lumped with them because he has the same mindset as them as to the future of Warner Bros. Pictures. I'm going to leave Walter Hamada out of this to some degree. He hasn't really actively done toxic things as far as we know as fans. Okay, but Toby Emmerich has sabotaged the Snyder Cut when it came out by delaying. He delayed the approval for them to go and change the Tom and Jerry situation back to Tom and Jerry instead of the Snyder Cut. Okay, and I do believe he actively got somebody inside of HBO Max, just like how that person retweeted in HBO Max. Somebody inside of HBO Max did that. That's not something by chance, because it never happened before with any other movie. So don't bullshit me with that. It only happened with the Snyder Cut. Okay? So that's sabotage. And it's Toby Emmerich behind that. Okay? Toby Emmerich has been a dirty dude for the longest while. And let's call him for what it is. He lied to us concerning Justice League 2017. He's the guy that withheld the funding to Todd Phillips for his Joker movie. He's now making the excuse that there's no funding to do Zack Snyder's movie, which is a lie. Top of that, he was actively trying to sabotage Zack Snyder's movie. Okay? And furthermore, he's the guy who, and the executive, Ann Sarnoff, who did not okay the funding and the budget for the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. What I mean by that is, Warner Bros. Pictures did not put a fucking, sorry about the F-bomb. They didn't put a dime into that movie, okay? They did not put any money into that movie. I can tell you, it cost them nothing, okay? All of that money that went into that movie went through AT&T. And you could say, oh, well, really, it was HBO Max. No. AT&T put their money into that. You could do the trickle down effect, but it's AT&T. Exactly, AT&T, but he's an AT&T appointed guy. Okay, he's an AT&T appointed guy. He came from Hulu. AT&T appointed him. And Sarnoff was not appointed by AT&T. Toby Emmerich wasn't appointed by AT&T. And what's the guy's name? And Walter Hamada wasn't appointed by AT&T. Okay, Ann Sarnoff was a WB person who was employed into WB. She was the CEO, first of all, of WB Pictures. She replaced Suchiara. Okay, Kevin Suchiara. That's who she replaced. Okay, so Ann Sarnoff is a WB appointee, a WB employee. Toby Emmerich is a WB employee. He came from New Line Cinema, affiliate of WB, and he moved up the ranks, and he's moving up the ranks very quickly. Okay, and Toby Emmerich comes from New Line Cinema along with Walter Hamada. Okay, Toby Emmerich was in collusion with John Byrne, Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon on what we saw in the Justice League 2017 movie. He is primarily responsible for the failings of that movie, along with Kevin Suchiara, who was there as well. Let's never forget that. Furthermore, this guy hasn't hit any home runs under his approval. He sabotaged Joker. Now, he talked about how Aquaman would be a great movie and his kids liked it and whatever. Okay, fine. But did he get a win with Aquaman? Did he really? And did Jeff Johnson, they get a win with Aquaman? Did they really? We could question that, because we all know James Wan went to Zack Snyder, because Jeff Johns kept on tinkering with his movie, and they allowed it under Toby Emmerich, and they changed up James Wan's movie. James Wan was trying to make, I remember his language. It was about a swashbuckling adventure, no doubt about it. But it was supposed to be darker, more horrific, and was supposed to keep you much more dialed into the movie and following the story. As Aquaman was supposed to, he was supposed to unite the seven seas. That was supposed to be James Wan's Aquaman movie. Now, the thing about it, and we know, we saw the movie move from dark, there were darker tones, to they lighten it up. They started going with Lucasfilms, and then they started doing things different. Okay? I don't know how much of that was I don't know how much of that was James Wan. The rooftop scene was crazy though, at least up to a certain point. It was crazy. It was a beautiful rooftop scene. I also enjoyed there was another scene that I really enjoyed. Yes, Aquaman's mother fighting the Atlanteans. Okay, it's dope as hell. Now, James Wan does action very, very well, so that's another great thing about James Wan. But the story was shit. It was a shit story. It was a shit story. And Jeff Johns was supposed to be the guy that was doing the story. You see what I'm saying? When I look at Wonder Woman 84, Jeff Johns did the story. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It was a shit story. It was a shit story. Compared to the other stories we have gotten, it was a shit story. Okay? I'm not trying to disrespect, but I'm just saying, what has been the home runs of Walter Hamada? Toby Emmerich. What have been their home runs? They got the Joker movie, but that was greenlit before, way before Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada were on the scene. That was in the works, and they wanted to get rid of that. Look how they got rid of the New Gods movie. Definitely that's a movie. You don't get rid of New Gods, man. You just don't do it. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about some other things, but I'm just getting into the details. But I'm just saying, the Warner Brothers we talk about when we say Warner Brothers is the head of Warner Brothers. There's Warner Brothers UK, there's Warner Brothers Tours, there's Warner Brothers all kinds of things. Okay, with the label Warner Brothers. When we talk about Warner Brothers, we're really specifically talking about the formerly called Warner Brothers Pictures. Now they have been sort of consolidated and called Warner Brothers Media or Warner Media, which is something AT&T formed to basically bring together all the ambits under Warner Brothers. Okay, Warner Brothers Media. That has to do with entertainment, not news, not other things that Warner AT&T has acquired. HBO Max now is fused under Warner Brothers Pictures, sort of, because the person who was in charge of Warner Brothers Pictures, Ann Sarnoff, who was the CEO of Warner Brothers Pictures Entertainment, okay, which is what Kevin Suchiara had, she is now over HBO Max in part content. When it comes to Toby Emmerich, he's over HBO Max as well, in terms of just general government. Okay. Now, Jason Keeler, he is the CEO of Warner Media. That's everything. He's the CEO over everything. That's why Jason Keeler was able to bring the Snyder Cut to HBO Max. He overrode Ann Sarnoff. He didn't agree with her. He didn't agree with Walter Hamada, and he did not agree with Toby Emmerich. He was like, "Get that fucking thing." Sorry, I gotta stop cussing. Get that thing. We want it. That content. We want that content. And if we gotta pay for it, we will pay for it. You don't have to do nothing but give us the IP. Okay? And I'm going to say this. They were very successful. Now, clearly, there is an agenda, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be, I may be wrong, but I'm going to say it, I'm going to put it out there. Jeff Johns, Jeff Johns has been envious of Zack Snyder for the longest while, and he's gotten his claws, okay, into CW and everywhere because he was a writer. He knows a lot of people. So he's gotten his claws into Toby Emmerich, Walter Hamada's claws because he's been friendly with them. Even Patty Jenkins to some degree, he got his claws into her and influenced her to do the stupidest thing ever and remove Let's start people, and I'm betting you Jeff Johns came from the angle of cost. We want to cut costs. We could do this. Hey, we could do this. And he fucked it up. Okay? Now, let me just make it abundantly clear. Okay? Because I'm talking here. I'm going to be honest with you guys, but like I said before, I have a lot to say. I'm sorry about the F-bombs. I have a lot to say on this issue because we want to talk about toxic. You can't talk about the fans. I mean, the fans are. They don't understand. We're close to it. During the Snyderverse. You guys have no idea. But here's the thing. Understand. Being destructive is not the way to do this. We have to show a better way as fans. Set a standard for how fans behave when they want to get what they want. You know what made us get the Snyder Cut even more than anything else, and even got some people who was not on board with us on board, and even got people like Cinema Blend's head guy to cry? You know why? Because we did good. Banners all over the place. We were passionate about what we wanted. That's what got people on board. And that's what's going to make what it is. But I'm telling you, this is a time that's different. We have a lot of support behind us. And one thing I can guarantee you is AT&T is behind us. Because AT&T wants this universe to happen on their and HBO Max. And I'm going to tell you why. AT&T's into the streaming business. They're into phones. If HBO Max does well, they can sell phones and they can sell their technology. They're totally behind this. Okay? There's so much AT&T sees here, seeing the thing correctly. And they know they have to be patient and they have to pitch these things to investors because these CEOs know how to spin things. They know how to talk a certain talk to get their way. That's why they've reached as far as they have. Not competency. Not in knowing how to deal with an IP. It's in dealing and wheeling. But it's dealing and wheeling. That's how these motherfuckers got where they didn't do like Jason Keeler and make Hulu something. Keeler's a mover and shaker. And he's a positive dude. He came from Hulu. He made Hulu something. So he knows what he's doing. All them other jokers, man, they're corporate leeches. Okay? So Jason Key is going to see something different. AT&T is going to see it as an opportunity. So what am I saying? I am saying to you guys that change, it doesn't always come instantaneously and immediate. You guys got to be patient. I got so much to say. Like I said before, I got a lot to say. Oh, you guys need to go to Prime's channel and y'all need to subscribe to Prime. Prime knows his shit. Okay? Prime knows his shit. And I'm going to tell y'all this. Subscribe to that dude. Remember I said it. And he's a DC fan to heart. Subscribe to Prime. That's another channel. You guys check him out. All right, so I got so much to say, like I said before. So we as fans, we need to understand who's on our side and who's not on our side. It's kind of clear there's a divide in Warner Brothers because if you look, Warner Brothers UK, they're promoting the shit out of the Snyder Cut, right? Warner Brothers UK literally has YouTube trailers of the Snyder Cut, right? They even gave the first 10 minutes of the Snyder Cut. Now, you know, Warner Brothers USA has done not one fucking piece of shit about the Snyder Cut. The only thing they came out there and said, no, that was on HBO Max, I think it was. They never had anything to do with the Snyder Cut, okay? So you already know they have nothing to do with this. They don't distribute, they don't promote. So why the fuck are they dealing with the Snyderverse, right? That's what you can be asking yourself. What are they doing? Why are they delving into the Snyderverse? Let me turn it. All right, so Why is it that they seem to be delving into the Snyderverse? Why are they trying to block the Snyderverse from happening? If they had nothing to do with the Snyder Cut, they had nothing to do with the success of the Snyder Cut or anything. Why are they delving into it? Well, let me just talk to you guys about this while I make my food, because I'm still making food. One, according to Mikey Sutton of Geek Custody, they're very concerned that the Snyderverse does way better than the Hamadaverse that they had. That is their concern. So they're not confident enough in the Hamadaverse that they could let the Snyderverse exist alongside it. And let me show you how narrow-minded and stupid these people are. Okay? They got two pretty big movies coming out. One is The Suicide Squad by James Gunn, which I wish the best. I'm not one of those people who's saying I wish it fails. Fuck no. I wish it succeeds. I wish all the movies that are under Walter Hamada succeeds. I'm not that kind of person. Okay? I believe that movies should be judged for who they are and not judged for what is happening around them and who's directing them and all of that. It's a story. If it's a good story, great. Right? That's how I feel about the situation. Now, with respect to, so there's two big sure winners that Hamada is going to be. The Suicide Squad. That's going to be a winner. That's going to knock it out of the park. The second one that Hamada and they're going to have is Black Adam. Black Adam is guaranteed to knock it out of the park. I don't know for the Flash. I don't know what's happening with the Flash. I can't tell you nothing about the Flash. There's a lot of controversy around it. I wish it nothing but the best. But from what I've seen of the Flash, I'm not really interested in it. Okay. But hey, nonetheless, that's what they got. Okay. Those are great movies. Suicide Squad's always, that's a hit. That's a hit. That's a good movie. I'm not mad at it at all. I hope James Gunn does exceedingly well. Okay? Doesn't have to make $1 billion. Just do well. It's COVID right now. The other movie is Black Adam. I'm going to say this one time. Let me tell you this. Black Adam is going to be a success. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. It's going to be a success. Okay? But here's the thing. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Black Adam, and I'm telling you, man, it's what it is. Black Adam next year is going to be that. But Black Adam 2 is going to have the original Justice League. That is a.k.a. Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, Jason Momoa, and Ezra Miller. That Justice League is the Justice League going up against Black Adam. And he is going to go up against the League. He's going to go up against the League. And that's what The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson wants. And he's going to bring Henry Cavill into his movie. Henry Cavill's going to be in that movie. Henry Cavill's going to be in Black Adam. Now, here's the thing I'm trying to get people to understand. We already know Ben Affleck's going to be in The Flash. I don't know how The Flash is going to be. It's an iffy movie right now, but whatever. But we do know that Ben Affleck's going to be in The Flash. All right? We're going to have two Batmans in The Flash. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. That sounds good. Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck. Doesn't sound bad at all. I see what they're trying to do. Crisis on Infinite Planets. You know, the same thing they did on the CW, but just a little bit more detailed as it's a movie, right? I get it. My thing is this. I want to make it abundant. You can't. And you're using Ben Affleck in your movie. And you're using Ezra Miller in your movie. And you're going to have Henry Cavill for sure in Black Adam. There's no freaking way you can say the Snyderverse is over. Secondly, and this is where it is, you can't tell me that we can't get David Ayer's Suicide Squad as it's supposed to be. Retcon to what it's supposed to be. You can't tell me that. Why? Why? Because you had Harley Quinn all along. All along you had Harley Quinn, and she's going to be in the Suicide Squad. The lady who plays Amanda Waller going to be in the Suicide Squad. We're going to have Rick Flag back in the Suicide. You cannot tell me I can't get the David Ear cut. The only way you could tell me I can't get the David Ear cut was if you didn't have none of those characters in your upcoming movie. What am I saying? I'm going to explain it to people because they don't understand. What I'm saying is, it's going to be fresh in people's mind, this Harley Quinn. It's going to be fresh in people right after James Gunn's Suicide Squad. People going to fresh in their mind will be this Harley Quinn. Fresh in their minds going to be that Rick Flag. Fresh in their minds going to be Amanda Waller. You might have a whole bunch of new characters, but them guys are the authentic guys. And they want to talk about Peacemaker. Who give a fuck about Peacemaker? But you never know. Might come out good. James Gunn know what he's doing. My point anyway is this. You're going to have them guys. And people going to say, man, we want to see Ear cut. They're going to say it. Because guess what? We're making noise all the time. We're talking about restore the Snyderverse. We're talking about release the Ear cut all the time. They're going to naturally ask for it. Because we're going to make sure that they hear it all the time. The noise is going to be there. It's not going to go away. So no matter what you do, no matter what you do, those main characters are out there. You cannot stop the Snyderverse from happening because you're taking characters from the Snyderverse and you're putting them in your movies. Now, if you had started a whole new slate of characters, it would be totally different. But you didn't do that. You didn't do that, WB. You have a messy situation on your hands. And you're not going to be able to retcon it with The Flash either. Because if Ben Affleck's performance in The Flash is good again, fuck it. They're going to want to see more Ben Affleck. Just what it is. You can't retcon this shit. You cannot shut us up. We will not be quieted. So they're trying to, as Culture Nerd said, they tried to put people inside our camp to divide us and make us do stupid things. That's the next thing they tried to do. So they tried infiltration. They tried sabotage. They tried to discourage us through the trades. Ain't happening. We are determined to keep on making noise and to keep on shaking it up. And guess what, WB? We know you weak. We know you are. You always cow down to the fans. You always cow down to the noise out there. You try to do little PR spins. You can't spin shit. We're going to have what we want. We already know you're weak. All you people in there, you're always reshuffling. You're always doing changing management. Greg Silverman should never have been fired from WB. Never. I'm going to say that. He rocked with the director and he rocked with the product. Now we got a bunch of visionless cronies in Warner Brothers. We got one guy who you know how to balance a budget. That's about it. He don't know how to do nothing else. So y'all gonna have to take your tongue lashing and y'all gonna have to take some humble pie. And if y'all want to keep your position in front of the investors, y'all better stay in line because this press ain't good press so far. And we're gonna bring the heat. We're gonna bring more heat on your ass. Not in terms of saying negative things that are not true, but in terms of pushing the Snyderverse. We're gonna keep it coming. And we're not going to stop. You're not going to be able to put this behind you, and you're not going to be able to stop this noise. We're going to make a lot of noise with a lot of truth. Let me remind you guys, I'm giving you all guys a little history run back. I'm going to run it back a little bit. Just recently, a series of things that happened with WB. First, they fired basically Ava DuVernay and New Gods. They said Zack Snyder's Justice League spoiled it. In which case, out came Aaron Michaels and talked about his script for New Gods. Yes, Abner DuVernay and they were doing a new script. But now that Abner DuVernay and the other comic book writer are out of the picture, that's when Aaron Michaels stepped up and spoke. I want you guys to understand what's going on. New Gods suddenly is cleared out. New Gods, you won't. The trench was just suddenly cleared out. Why? Because Abner DuVernay and the comic book writer was writing along the lines of what Aaron Michael was doing. Right? Now let's keep it moving. So they got rid of, Abner DuVernay. They gave her a CW something. All right. Now check this out. Check this out, because notice the people they're doing this to. What color is this skin? Come on, tell me. Aaron Michaels, a black man. You write of Abner DuVernay, a black woman. I want you to understand what's going on. You fired this lady from Krypton, who worked on Krypton. You fire her from the Superman movie, Superman and Lois, when she explains black culture to you. Says she ain't having it. You fire her. Black woman. How many black people and people of color do you fire and get rid of because they're expendable? How many comic book movies we see people of color? First Captain America that's black. First is Falcon. I'm just saying. There's racism in Hollywood. That's point number. Much Warner Brothers screwed up and how much they are toxic to a very high degree. And I'm not talking about all of Warner Brothers. When I speak about it, I'm talking about the current regime headed by Toby Emmerich and Sarnoff and Walter Hamada. Now they're trying to do a token black Superman. So, Kal-El, we're going to start for Superman to be black. Yeah, let's just do a token black super. Tokenism. That's what these fuckers are doing. I don't mince it. It's time for black Superman now. But you didn't want Cyborg? Oh, angry black man. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Sorry about the F-bomb. It's nonsense. That's what I'm trying to say. It's lies. It's just a bunch of lies. That's what I'm really saying. It's a bunch of lies. Let's continue. Because the exposure. Oh, fuck. All right, we're live. Oh. All right, so we're live again. Hold on a second. Let's let things go here. We're frozen up a bit. Don't worry. Hold on a second. We're gonna get it back. Hold on. I'm not seeing myself. I'm just like frozen on the screen. The camera's not working. Hold on. It's moving. All right, there we go. We back. All right, so what happened was my phone battery died in the middle of what I was saying, and so everything just died off. All right, but we're good now. I'm charging it up. All right, so what I was saying to you guys is, when we go down memory lane, right, first things first, we see that even, this is way after Justice League hasn't been Zack doesn't, things are not working out with Zack and the League. We've seen that the New Gods movie, the writer for the New Gods movie, the guy who introduced the New Gods movie, he got fired. I was a black person. All right, we see Abner DuVernay got fired, right? And let's just continue down memory lane. Just recently, just a couple weeks ago, when another article came out. Now remember, all of this started from the Ray Fisher stuff, right? Another article comes out now talking about the gagging order that Warner Brothers put out, all right, from small screen, so that nobody could talk about the success of the Snyder Cut. Okay, and then let's go a little further. Recently, we've seen Warner Brothers, besides the active sabotage and so on, they put out a Justice League 4K trailer, right? The theatrical again. Like if we didn't have a Justice League 4K trailer before. Zack Snyder puts out we had the Batman v Superman that came out on Warner Brothers Pictures. All right, that was the recolored Batman v Superman, which is sold out. All right, Snyder Cut selling out in the UK. We got the first 10 minutes of Snyder Cut. That was probably supposed to go out in the UK, so they decided to jump the gun, put out the Justice League trailer, which is what is it like now? Like 100K dislikes? I wouldn't be surprised, 100K dislikes, okay? And probably has 1 million views. It's got a lot of views, but a lot of dislikes. You know what I mean? And in other people watched it to say, hey, fuck that, okay? My point anyway is this. They've been on a trajectory that's been a failing trajectory if you look at it. And there's a lot of just, the deleted Green Lantern scene now is in public. The trades have taken that and gone with it because Zack Snyder put that out. Of course, and Warner Brothers put out, the announcement of their Green Lantern series that's going to be on HBO Max. That's now beginning production, finally. You know what I'm saying? But they wanted to block that. They wanted to block Zack from showing his Green Lantern, his John Stewart. You know what I mean? They wanted to block that. But why? What was the petty reason? Oh, we're gonna have all John Stewart. We want we want you to not kind of precursor us, like with the new guys. Don't do no new guys. Don't do no John Stewart. And it's like, hey, dude, this is Zack's movie. Zack should be able to do whatever he wants with his movie. You're not funding the movie. You're not putting any money to it. So what the hell are you doing? What are you messing with Zack for? Okay. They didn't want any new God stuff in there and so on. Because Ava DuVernay was doing her new. Listen, man. The only reason you wouldn't want a director to do anything that he wants to do is because you're afraid your directors can't live up to the bar. That's it. All right. Don't tell me the fans will get a fresh take and looking at. Zack did the outskirts of Atlantis because James Wan wanted to do Atlantis. Zack did the outskirts of Themyscira because Patty Jenkins wanted to do Themyscira. So Zack knew how to accommodate Patty and work. It's called coordinating with different directors. You don't have a fucking director for the Green Lantern movie, as far as we know, or series, but you're talking about blocking it as executives? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is the kind of behavior they had because Jeff Johns wanted to go ahead and show how good Jeff Johns is, because Jeff Johns is trying, that envious son of a bitch was trying to sabotage Zack and to take his ideas and run with it. And how successful has Jeff Johns been with that? Not very successful, right? Because why? Because when you're gifted with something, Zack's gifted with directing. He's gifted with that. He directs even when he's not even directing a movie. He's directing us right now. The Snyder Cut movie is being directed by Zack. That's how he directs. His directorial style is a gift. You will never be like him, Jeff Johns, because you were never a director. That's not your lane. Stay in your freaking lane. Your lane is comics. That's it. You know who would have been better than Jeff Johns to run DC films? Jim Lee. Because Jim Lee would have stayed in his lane. Jim Lee would have understood that he's a comic book writer. That's what he does. Jeff Johns has been able to use his input and construct and direct things like television series and stuff. But even his way of leadership and his way of directing is terrible. Because he can't direct, because he's not a director. He's not a screenwriter. He's a comic book writer. His ideas are atrocious. He failed with Superman Returns. He failed with Green Lantern. He failed with Justice League. All the biggest IPs. Oh, it looks just like the comics. No, bruh. You're not a movie. You're not into movies. You got some success with TV, but you're not into movies. Stay the fuck away from the movies. Stay the fuck away from the people who create stuff. Leave them alone. He's a snake. So I remember once I used to defend Jeff Johns. I'm not going to defend that fool. Go ahead and make your comics. Write comics. You're not even the best comic book writer. You have anyway, let me leave that alone. Leroy Kong says, hello, great live. I'm at work now. All your videos are great. WB sucks. Zack Snyder is the best and deserves better. Ricochet says, works again. Thanks, man. It's at 98K dislikes by now. Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the Justice League trailer. No, there are very few people. There are few people who like that Justice League. But there's very few people who are going to tell you that the version of Justice League we saw in the theaters was better than the Snyder Cut. And the Snyder Cut's much longer. It's twice as long. And yet it's not boring. And the other thing I want to say is, it's another thing I want to say. As we look down history lane, very recent history lane, while all of that stuff is being said about WB and the stupid decisions they make, the fact that they say that the Snyder Cut is a cul-de-sac in Justice League is canon. I mean, I don't care who you are. Don't care who you are. You're not in your right mind if you're saying that the inferior film is canon and the superior film is a cul-de-sac. There's just no way. There's no way. That makes any kind of sense for any reasoning human being on this planet. Okay? That is the epitome of incompetence by this particular leadership of Warner Brothers Pictures. They are incompetent and incapable, as Ray Fisher said, of leading. He is right. And they're proving it. Now, with respect to the investors have lost since Toby Emmerich's been there. I have the charts with their share, their market share for Warner Brothers Pictures, and how it fell since 2017. It rose in 2016 with the Snyder Cut and with Suicide Squad. It rose. Not Snyder Cut, sorry. Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, which made a little bit over $1.6 billion. They made the record highest amount of toys and merchandise sold through WB and DC. They made the record highest sales ever that year. $4.5 billion in sales. Then they abandoned that to have a slump. They're now at 11 point something percent of market share. They've dropped significantly. Zack Snyder was bringing WB and DC properties into the heights. Batman v Superman was it was a much more serious film. It ended in a very sad note. I've watched it, several people on YouTube, their reactions to Zack Snyder's Justice League. I saw several women break out in tears when Superman died. They were traumatized somewhat, understandably. Okay? I've seen children watch it and they cried too. Okay? And then we're talking about the Ultimate Edition. But even though the movie was heartbreaking, because Superman went through so much in that movie and then died, it was a heartbreaking movie. But does that make it the worst comic book movie of all time? Fuck no. And that's the problem I have. Even the theatrical cut, great movie.
Good movie. My point anyway is this. Zack Snyder was their secret weapon. I'm not saying you can't have other secret weapons, but that was the guy that could have carried it through. And Christopher Nolan's vision was brilliant. But envious dogs like Jeff Johns didn't like it. And he started to get these execs to align with him slyly on the side and worked his way to prominence for a brief moment in time with DC Films. Because he's just like those executives. He's slimy, he lies, he wheels and deals to get to the top position. It's not about who's most appropriate for that position. It's about how I can get my slimy ass in there so I can better myself and my brand and my name. So anyway, right now, the work speaks for itself with the Snyder Cut. And we got so much to say about it. I saw David F. Sandberg say that the Snyder Cut is a superior product to what ended up in theaters in 2017. David S. Sandberg said he saw it and it's superior. Now, that's huge because David F. Sandberg's Shazam was written off of BVS, the continuity of BVS. And while WB fucked up David F. Sandberg's film to some degree because he wanted continuity with Henry Cavill's Superman, I want you to understand, and I'm not mad at David F. Sandberg for his film. He was trying to get continuity with Zack Snyder's work. When AT&T featured Shazam off of the Zack Snyder Cut, not Joss Whedon's Justice League, I realized then and there that there are people in Warner Brothers and AT&T and HBO Max who acknowledge Zack Snyder's Justice League as canon. They could have chosen to do Joss Whedon's version. They did not. The execs at Warner Brothers have definitely eaten some LSD. They're delusional. That they can think that for some reason, people view the theatrical cut of Justice League as canon. Having seen the Snyder Cut is completely and utterly delusional. Furthermore, the fact that they would think that the Snyder Cut is a cul-de-sac is equally delusional because TNT was advertising the Snyder Cut as the predecessor for Shazam. And so that people understand what I'm saying, David F. Sandberg concurs with that by saying the Snyder Cut is the better version of Justice League. And that's where he was. He mostly cited from BVS. He didn't really cite from Justice League. He actually cited his stuff from BVS. What I'm saying is Shazam is in the continuity of the Snyderverse. That's where David S. Sandberg wants to come from. That's very important for you to understand. And even though it's a humorous movie and everything, and some of the some of the scenes are just ridiculous. Okay, I think Patty Jenkins was trying to come from that same place, but it's just way too ridiculous. is they're trying to continue the Snyderverse. That is why it is imperative that guys like Walter Hamada understand this. You're trying to course correct, but what you can do is have both worlds. Jim Lee would say it this way: put a fork in the road, and I guess that's what the Flash is supposed to be for. But put a fork in the road where you can have a divergence towards the Snyderverse and a divergence towards the Hamadaverse. And what you do is you bring those two worlds back together at a certain point in time. That's what you do. Now, how do you phase out one phase and phase in another phase, which is what has to be done? Because you have to understand, Ben Affleck cannot be, he could be Batman forever if he wants to. I mean, he could be an older version of Batman, but he's going to get killed off eventually, right? Justice League 2 is where Batman dies. He's going to have to die in order for Justice League 2 to be successful. So that's inevitable. So we know, we have spoilers as to what is going to happen in Justice League 2. We have even a whole storyboard. It's not going to go like that, but you know. Now, we knew what Justice League was from the theatrical cut, and we had spoilers about what was supposed to come for the cinematic debut of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and still, it blew everything out the water. The reason being, it's how Zack Snyder puts the pictures together and paints the picture and directs the movie. Now, having said all of that, Justice League 2 is going to happen. I told you guys for several different reasons it's going to happen. It's not an if or but. It's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen next year. It's not going to happen the year after that. It's probably going to happen in 20, what did I say? It's 2020, what are we in, 2021? It's going to happen probably in 2023, 2024. Okay? Somewhere there. But it's going to happen. Okay? And I believe Justice League 3 will come right after it. So the year that it comes out is the year after, or the same year, Justice League 3 is going to come. And obviously, it's going to be a replacement Batman, which is very interesting. But anyway, the point is, Zack Snyder's story is going to be come to an end, and that will be it. That will be it. No more Zack Snyder stuff. Okay? That's the end. That's the end. It's not a cul-de-sac per se, but it's the end of the story. Okay? And out of that story can come many other stories. But what was supposed to come after Justice League, the first Justice League, was it was setting up the Batman. The Batman was supposed to come next, which was Ben Affleck's Batman movie with Deathstroke in it. And they were featuring that, and that was supposed to have come next. Now, because we are demanding the Ayer cut, because we found out that David Ayer had something else that he wanted to bring forward, the Ayer cut's going to come out first, and it's actually a done movie. So that will take a little odds and ends, little things to finish up. Not a whole lot of money because it was almost done. So that the Ayer cut is going to come out next. Now, what comes out after that, we believe, would be the Batman movie. The Batman movie comes out next. It's either Deathstroke or the Batman movie. Either way, both movies are not big budget movies. They're not tremendously big budget movies, which means we're talking about a movie somewhere between $50 to $80 million is necessary to make that movie. And since the Deathstroke movie probably costs less because it's grounded, it's not going to be just a whole set of CGI. These are not CGI movies. These are movies where you're actually going to be using actual stunts and stuff. So because of that, these movies are not going to be high budget movies. But if well done, like how Joker was well done, grounded, kind of Christopher Nolan-ish, they will make extraordinary amounts of money with very, very little investment. And that's the kind of movies we're talking about. Spawn, you know, when McFarlane's talking about the movie Spawn, he's talking about a movie that's probably $20 million it takes to make. And makes $1 billion because the concept of Spawn itself can be a grounded movie in which everything in the world is grounded except for the supernatural thing of Spawn. So, you know, horror films make a lot of money. It's the same way these movies can make a lot of money. And of course, the difference is Whereas kiddies, this is not the kiddie side of things. So the Snyderverse would be much more for adults. And that would be cool because the Hamadaverse will be for kids and families and children. And I'm not saying the Snyderverse can't be for kids and families and children. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I think a lot of families can watch Justice League and really enjoy it. And there's one or two F bombs in there, but for the most part, it's basically a comic book movie. Okay. Um, but the thing about it is that at the end of the day, you can have the both versions exist. The Hamada verse has a place. I can't understand why these execs can't understand this. Set it in your stupid skull. First of all, HBO Max needs content. So no matter how many Hamada verse stuff and spin-offs you do with those movies, and they're limited, you're not going to be able to cover all the content. HBO Max has space for tons and tons and tons of new content. So I don't understand how they cannot process this. The Hamada verse is going to do fine because it's geared for kids. All right? Kids are going to love that stuff. So it's geared for kids. So if your kid is not old enough, like he's not over 13 years of age, or he's too young to understand certain things you want to expose him to, then you can have the Hamadaverse. Why is this a problem, people? There's the CW, but kids need movies too. So the Hamadaverse is there for them. Not a problem. That's why Super Pets. I get it, Walter Hamada. What I don't understand is why you are trying to stop the Snyderverse. Why are you talking about it being a cul-de-sac? That's the dumbest thing you ever said. It's stupid. And sign off. Who is advising you? It's so stupid. It's really stupid. The Snyderverse is going nowhere. There is a market for that thing. Globally. It's not going anywhere, and AT&T will make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And the Air Cut's coming out. There's no way the Air Cut's not coming out. And I don't care what Warner Brothers tries to do, not to get the IP across, it's going to go across. AT&T bought out that company, and they're going to find a way to force Warner Brothers' hand to make that happen. And the other thing that Warner Brothers is going to have to concede to AT&T and HBO Max is anything that they produce and anything that their original content, if they're doing the distribution rights, they should be allowed to view their stuff in theaters, which means the Snyder Cut is going to theaters. If the demand is so high, it's going to go into theaters. And they're not going to be able to stop it because they're not the distributors. If HBO Max decides to take it upon themselves to distribute that movie, whether it's in a limited amount or what, in theaters, then there's nothing that Warner Brothers can do to stop that. So I want to make it abundantly clear that we as fans need to demand and keep on pressing for the first thing. Let me tell you what we need to do. The first thing to restore the Snyderverse, this is the first thing we need to do. Make sure the Snyder Cut ends up in theaters before the end of this year. I'm not just talking about for charity like Zack Snyder's talking. No. It needs to go into theaters proper. Even if it's limited viewing in America and in countries around the world, it needs to be in theaters. In fact, Zack was trying to make arrangements for the Snyder Cut to be in theaters around the world. It didn't work out the first time around, but the second time around, it needs to work out with HBO Max. Because Netflix is doing it for Zack Snyder. So fuck it, HBO Max. Make sure you get it done. AT&T, make sure you get it done. You can't have Netflix upping you like that. You got to get that fucking movie into theaters. And if it does well enough, extend it. You can test the waters first and then extend it. I know there are due dates and you have to make spaces for dates and whatever. But if a movie flops or whatever and you got the extra space, put the Snyder Cut there. It's going to do well. Like I said, I have a lot to say. I haven't even started This could go for 5, 10 hours if I wanted to. I have a lot to say. Okay? So people saying restore the Snyderverse is dead, they're full of fucking baloney. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Snyderverse is nowhere near dead. And anybody with half a brain would realize that. Don't listen to the spin. Think about the facts of the situation. Why is Warner Media at war? Because AT&T said, fuck it. We're going with this IP. And we're riding this IP to the end. And the Warner Brothers segment of Warner Media, that is Toby Emmerich and Sarnoff, Walter Hamada, want to try to double down on their word, which is idiotic. It's just the most idiotic thing in the world because there's no evidence to show that one, the Snyder Cut is not canon, and two, that the Snyder Cut is a cul-de-sac. But they're doubling down, trying to play like, oh, we're going to double down, make sure that this happens. It's not going, you can't do shit because first of all, and you know, AT&T is letting them play themselves right now, play themselves into the grave because they know this regime is going to get replaced. Let me tell you why. One, it's an idiotic assumption that the Snyder Cut is a cul-de-sac and that it's not canon. It's just idiotic. Just anybody with half a brain would realize that. That's obviously going nowhere. And if they try to divorce themselves from the thing that started the universe, think about this now. Got to use your head here. They're trying to separate themselves from the thing that started the universe. No, what you needed to do was scrap the whole fucking universe and start fresh with new characters and new things. You didn't do that. You're continuing the universe. So one, your statement is stupid because it's not a cul-de-sac. Two, everybody knows it's not a cul-de-sac now, having seen it, which you didn't want them to see. So they know the Justice League, nobody want to go see Justice League anymore because it's a cul-de-sac. Now, what they could do, or what they tried to do, and maybe it worked, was they tried to twin the Justice League movie along with the Snyder Cut. So people watched the Justice League movie to watch the Snyder Cut, which was very smart on their part because people wanted to compare the Snyder Cut to the Justice League movie. But now trying to sell the Justice League movie, fuck that. Nobody cares about the Justice League movie now. They don't. Because they know the Snyder Cut is superior. Now, ain't nobody going, well, you may get one or two people, you know, who will watch Justice League. But the majority of people are never going to watch that movie ever again. I know for a fact, I'm never going to watch that movie ever again. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Okay? I am forever going to be watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. Injustice is Gray. I'm going to purchase both of them. Injustice is Gray as well as in the color version. Both. That's a given. That's a given. So anybody bullshitting you and saying, oh, well, the Snyderverse is over. No, it's not. No, it's not. And Zack doesn't have to work directly with WB anymore. And they're working out the details. Because AT&T wants to work with Zack. And HBO Max is the vehicle and platform which they will work with Zack with. And yes, you're saying, well, Warner Brothers won't want to give up the IPs. They gave up the IPs for the Snyder Cut, though. They gave it up. And they're going to give it up again for the Snyderverse. They're going to have to give up that IP for the David Ayer cut. I heard Aaron Sonoff said, well, the Ayer cut's not coming out. But why? Why wouldn't the Ayer cut come out? And the excuse is, well, we don't want to start the Snyderverse again. But why? Because, you know, Zack Snyder's movies are expensive. It's cost. Cost is the problem. That's bullshit. Because you're dumping all that money into the J.J. Abrams verse. Where you get the $500 million from? Where do you get it from? You didn't put a dime into the Snyder Cut, but you got $500 million for the J.J. Abrams verse. Fuck out of here. So the bullshit that they give you, you must not listen to them. It's bullshit. And you have to be able to see past their bullshit. Because they didn't put a fucking dime into the Snyderverse, into the Snyder Cut. So they can shut the fuck up with that shit. You gotta let them know. Now, I'm cussing like crazy, which is not good, but I'm angry. I'm angry that, one, they sell you the bullshit and some people buy into the bullshit and then they get negative like these people. They become negative and here they are, cancel HBO Max. No, hell no. You don't cancel HBO Max, dummy. If you cancel HBO Max, how are you going to get the Snyderverse? That's the platform. That's the only platform AT&T has. It's dumb. Who comes up with these stupid ideas? They say, well, they're using the Snyder Cut fans to get their base and blah, 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 blah. Listen. This is what we do. What we do is we keep on watching the Snyder Cut because that's where it's on. It's on HBO Max. And even when you can have it available on other properties, go watch it on HBO Max. Here's the thing we need to do as fans. We have to be smart. We're inviting other people to see the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. Okay, that's what we're doing. So we can increase subscriptions and build our case for the Snyderverse even more. AT&T right now, they're in the driver's seat. Zack Snyder is in the driver's seat. You guys don't see it, but that's what it is. The reason being this, two reasons. The first one is AT&T is in the right. Snyderverse did exceedingly well, did what they wanted it to do. They launched off their brand. Their brand is doing well. Two, most importantly, they still have Zack Snyder. And they're very eager because of the base that is there. The long term, they can really build on that base, which is us. Remember, subscription streaming services care about subscriptions, bottom line. All right. Yes, it's good that an IP, you get a lot of views and all of that, but it's always long term, as Mikey Sutton was saying, as even my boy Prime was saying. Okay. Long term. But you got to understand, people binge watch movies all the time. People binge watch series all the time. You can't look at the streaming views or the households or whatever and say, oh, like if it's box office. This is not box office. The success of a movie or success of movies or things like that, like a Snyderverse, would be in how many subscribers subscribe to the service to see that Snyderverse. You remember, HBO Max is not a global thing yet. All right, they're working to be global. Again, this is Jason Keeler's baby. And ain't nothing right now on there that has that kind of continuity. Mortal Kombat's cool, but Mortal Kombat won't cut it. Godzilla vs. Kong is cool, but it's not a Warner Brothers IP. It's a foreign IP that they make a little money off of. Wonder Woman, that's a great franchise, but it's nothing like the Snyderverse. Like Wonder Woman's in the Snyderverse proper. Shit. Because everybody saw what Wonder Woman looked like, and it was like, that's Wonder Woman right there. I'm just saying, the Snyderverse is the IP to go with. It's the bad boy of the whole thing. That's what it centers around. That's why Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he ain't playing around. He's like, dude, see that? You see the Snyderverse? I want to be part of that. I don't need. Walter Hamada, that's cool. You chill. You should stay on the side. Matt Reeves. Fucking Jeff Johns replaced Ben Affleck with Matt Reeves. Ben Affleck would have had continuity in the Snyderverse if he had done his movie. Jeff Johns sabotaged that. And now we have Matt Reeves, who's kind of sitting out there just in, he's kind of outside of everything. He's not in the Hamadaverse, none of that. He might be a standalone movie, whatever. Okay, Matt Reeves always wanted to do the Batman movie, but Matt, you kind of, kind of fucked up because they fucked Ben over to give you that position. That's why a lot of Snyderverse fans, we don't really like that. We know you're a good director and everything, but that's why we push for Ben Affleck's movie. We don't really try to go on you and say fuck you and fuck wreck me. But I feel a certain kind of way every time I see that Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. No, you're a good director. Pretty sure it's gonna be a good Batman movie. But at the end of the day, I feel how about how they slighted Ben, how they did Ben in. I know Ben is supportive of you and everything, but how you could have taken that shit, man? They just fucked Ben over to give you that position. That's what I think a lot of Snyder Cut fans be looking at, like Matt Reeves, like man, fuck this dude. You know, that's how they feel about you. Now, whether or not your movie is good, I know it's gonna be good. I saw it. I was interested, and I hope the studio doesn't interfere with your movie. But nonetheless, I know it's gonna be good. That's another take on Batman. I love it. But my thing is, Matt, you gotta support Ben. You gotta make sure that Ben gets his fucking movie. And y'all need to become more vocal as directors and work with each other. Because all y'all got is each other. All y'all got is each other. I love how James Gunn and David Ayer been working together. They complement each other. I could see James Gunn taking Suicide Squad to and being the director for Suicide Squad for the rest of his life. Because guess what? Guess what? James Gunn's that kind of dude. He can make it happen. Okay? He's that kind of dude. But I like how James Gunn is a guy that appreciates the fans and he's also willing to back other directors and defend them. That's what I like about him. And he likes, he tried to defend Joss too. He's trying to work together. He's kind of a Jim Lee kind of dude. That's what we need. Because the studios be fucking directors over left, right, and center for time immemorial. You guys got to stand up for each other. Y'all don't have no union or nothing. Y'all only got the Actors Guild. So y'all stay and stick out for each other, directors. And sometimes, Joss Whedon got fucked over too. Don't get me wrong. I remember when he said that Steppenwolf looked like shit. I thought he was dissing the movie. I was like, what the fuck he did? He was right. Joss Whedon was like, that Steppenwolf is shit that I just did. The studio made me do this shit. He was right. And let me just make it abundantly clear. Joss Whedon, for all the, they got him looking real bad in the light right now. Like he's public enemy number one. We know how it goes with this thing. But the one thing I want to say about Joss Whedon, he ain't said shit since then. You know why? Besides him being, what he was, the thing about it is he stayed quiet, which was a wise thing to do. Okay? But he was in a fucked up situation from the get-go. That was a fucked up situation. And yeah, no. Is what it is. I'm not defending the dude because he himself is a terrible piece of crap. But nonetheless, it was a fucked up situation. And Jeff Johns, man, dude's a snake, man. Dude never do nothing positive for no movie. Anytime you see Jeff Johns on a movie, you gotta say, "Oh my God, this movie's gonna suck." You know what I mean? Because Jeff Johns, he fuck up movies, man. That's why they didn't. Christopher Nolan and David Goyer didn't want him on the project. He was a consultant, but that was about it. He wasn't involved. In BVS, he was pitching BVS and shit. He got more involved, and he still fucked up that movie. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, man. Dude need to just clear out from movies and go write comics. That's what you do. You write comics. Write comics. Just write comics and get consultancy. That's what you do. You have no spot. You have no place in movie making. Just stay clear of movie making. We'd be cool. Stay in your goddamn lane. You know what I mean? God damn. Now they gonna do a Green Lantern series. Guess who? Jeff Johns up in there again. We expect that Green Lantern movie Green Lantern series to fucking suck. We expect it to suck. Get that guy out of that shit. I don't like Krypton was kind of good and then it sucked. Jeff Johns was in it. I mean, come on, man. I'm not saying he's not a good screenwriter or anything like that. I'm just saying, Jeff Johns, man, You just don't know what to do when it comes to movies. You're just not that good, man. You're just not that good. You got some really crazy ass ideas when it comes to movies. Movies are not the same. Live action movies are not the same as animation. And they're definitely not the same as comic books, man. Jeff Johns. Anyways, people, man. And I'm not saying he's not gifted at what he does, but I'm just saying it's just not the same. You trying to push certain things that just not realistic. That's all I'm saying. The Truth 31, what's up, brother? Picochet says HBO Max should be made global. I could have watched Godzilla vs. Kong legally last night with subtitles helping me to understand it better. Yes, sir. I hear you, man. The truth's up in the building. What's up, man? Jeff John destroys everything he touches when it comes to film. Bruh. Like, come on, man. Jeff. Just stay away from film. Bruh. You know, if they want you for consultancy, that's something totally different. What comic was this in? That comic, when it comes to anything else, just stay the hell away from film. Please. Don't be jealous of Zack Snyder. That's his gifting. That's what he do. He's born that way. He sees things a certain way. That's just the way he is. Another thing, man, I got so much I want to say. Yo, another thing that really freaking annoys me is when they say, you know, I have no problem now that Zack Snyder has an Elseworld with Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman is canon. I'm like, dude, you haven't even seen Robert Pattinson's Batman. What are you talking about is canon? You saw the trailer. You saw him beating the flying F out of that dude. He was beating that dude up bad. But he's canon? Not to say that he moved like Ben Affleck Batman, man. The stunt double for Ben Affleck is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And the way how Ben Affleck Batman beats you up, he really beat you. Like, you remember that warehouse scene when he pinned the guy down by his head? Boom. And he just started really beating the knuckles out of that dude. Like, oh man, Zach, see, because Zach shot it from an angle a certain way, and he's like, pop, pop. I was like, God damn. It's a goddamn moment, you know. Robert Pattinson, I mean, he do his thing. I mean, as an actor, he looked okay. But you know, Zach captures those angles, man. He be seeing it like, and almost like from the pages of a comic book, like you say, that's Batman. I remember when Ben Affleck went to his first interview with Batman v Superman, right? And I saw where Ben Affleck was being interviewed by, it was a late night show, and the dude turned to Ben Affleck. I forgot his name. The late night show with it wasn't I can't remember the guy's name. Okay, so whatever. I know who he is. He's a smiley kind of guy from Saturday Night Live. But I can't remember his name right now. But he was like, he looked at Ben Affleck. He shook his hand. He said, "Bruh, from now on, you gonna be called Batman." They gonna call you Batman everywhere. Jimmy Fallon, that's the name, Jimmy Fallon. He was like, dude, from now on, you're no longer Ben Affleck, bro. You Batman. And hence the name Batfleck was born. Oh man, I'm saying, dude, Batfleck, bro. Oh man, and nobody else, maybe before or after, will ever be called by a pet name associated with a bat. He's called Batfleck. Everybody unanimously believes that Ben Affleck is Batfleck, and they just, you know what I mean? The truth says, I really hope Warner Brothers doesn't interfere with Matt Reeves. Shit, boy, dude. I don't want to hear about an ultimate cut with his film. I don't think so. Well, goddamn. I don't know what could happen. Anything could happen, right? With these executives who not thinking straight at all. Like you would think they think with brains, but apparently they think with their asses. You know what I'm saying? But you know, AT&T's letting them play the course a little bit, play themselves, because they know it's like they on a rope. They kind of just release the rope. Y'all gonna hang yourselves. Y'all done already on an idiotic premise that make no damn sense. I'm gonna just let you hang yourself. You know what I'm saying? You could see that. You even see they're like playing AT&T playing around because they can flex their muscles and just say, "Fuck this." Look, you gonna have to put that fucking movie in. You know, they can just flex. They can just flex on them anytime they want. So they're just sitting back in the cut watching them kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're like, all right, let them play themselves a little bit. Yeah, you know, Matt Reeves. I hope Matt Reeves is not fighting. You see, the same thing happened to David Ayer, and then it's a serious movie. Look at all the. It pisses me off, but I'm gonna say it anyway. All the directors that were doing serious, grounded movies, okay, all of them, Warner Brothers is giving a hard time, except for Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan wasn't taking shit, right? Zack Snyder. They fucked with him with Batman v Superman, Justice League, right? David Ayer. They fucked with him with Suicide Squad. Patty Jenkins. They fucked with her with Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman was fucked with, right? Patty Jenkins had to fight for the No Man Land scene, and she lost the battle with the final battle that she had, the third act of the film, right? Warner Bros. Fucked that up. Jeff Johns was involved. Let's keep it moving. After that, we had Justice League. And that was fucked with royally. That was supposed to be a serious movie, as we seen. Keep it moving. Aquaman. Royally fucked with when it comes to story-wise. James Wan was supposed to do one kind of movie, it ended up being another. But James Wan can do action very well, and I bailed him out. Point anyway is this. After that, Shazam wasn't fucked with, as far as I know. David F. Sandberg, it was supposed to be a comedy, so they were cool with that. Yeah, like, for the kiddies, for the toys. Right? So that they didn't fuck with that. Do not know if they did fuck or did not fuck with the director of the Harley Quinn movie. I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. For a rated R movie, I know Harley Quinn's crazy. There's something wrong with that movie, I'm telling you. Something wrong with that movie. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's keep it rolling. After that, we have Wonder Woman 84. Patty Jenkins, the director that directed Wonder Woman, suddenly with Wonder Woman 84 is directing action that looks like shit. Now, come on, man. Patty, no. Jeff Johns, the execs. Right? And Patty is someone who directs movies which have substance in them. All right? And she's known as a very emotive, very beautiful emotion, stuff you never knew was inside, you know, unseen, you know. She pictures things really, really well. So there was no fucking way Patty Jenkins would produce a movie looking like that. I don't care what anybody. She would defend the movie, and she will not say what really went down. I know they fucked with her. And I'm pretty sure they said, oh, we don't have a budget for this. When Patty tried to get the stunt people again. I feel they fucked her like that. I know they put pressure on her, and I know she tried to come back, and she did the best she could with what she had. But there's no fucking way she would do action like that. Patty's a perfectionist. There's no way. That's why Patty was mad after the movie. You know, they talk about it wouldn't come out, and then all of a sudden they're putting her stuff up on HBO Max, and the movie bombed, right? And it's not cool. It's not cool in the theaters, that is, right? It wasn't cool. Yeah, COVID and all that, but still, you know. And Patty's a cinemaphile, so I don't like what they did, Patty. And again, that's why she said, fuck y'all. She's like, fuck y'all. You know, the greenlit Wonder Woman 3, and she's like, fuck y'all. I can understand her saying that. I can understand Christopher Nolan saying, fuck y'all. Right? Because they fucked up his theatrical cut. They were supposed to promote that the proper way. And everybody's like, oh, well, Christopher Nolan should have been. No. You got to back the director. And they did not back the Christopher Nolan's fucked. They fucked Christopher Nolan. They fucked Patty Jenkins. They fucked both of them. all of this went down, and nobody's talking about this. This is the track record these sons of guns have. They have a horrible track record. Like I said, the market share for Warner Brothers has plummeted since 2016 when Toby Emmerich took over. It's been going down and down and down and down, and this year is the lowest of them. So all this cut costs and all this bullshit and the investors not having the confidence in them is what's happening. These guys are sinking their own self and their careers. And now they're saying, well, we don't want nothing to do with the Snyderverse. Well, you've been trying since 2017 to have nothing to do with the Snyderverse. You were listening to the trades who were saying you needed to course correct when those trades were going off of a Marvel model. And now you're trying to build that Marvel model late in the game, 2017, when you should just simply go with what you had. Because just because Batman v Superman was a movie that was solemn and serious, y'all should have moved down that trajectory and ride hard with your director, like how Disney did with Ryan, whatever his name is, that screwed up the Star Wars series, the second one. The second one was always going to be that way. The middle movie generally is the hardest one, the Empire Strikes Back kind of movie. That's how it go in a trilogy. You can't have everything all nice and gory. And, you know, this is not what the fuck is it called? That car movie that James Wan did, one of them. Fast and the Furious. This is not Fast and Furious series. You know? Anyways, man. I just had to say that because, man, these people, man. Truth 31 says, I think Kevin Smith came up with Batfleck. Okay, cool. The Truth 31 says, trash 85. Yo, for such a good director as Patty Jenkins, man, to get graveled in the mud, she never had that ever happen to her like that. You know what I'm saying? I think she did it with TV series. It was trash. But for the most part, Patty generally hits the mark with her stuff. You know, for her to miss the mark so badly with that, I just couldn't understand. Like, there's certain things that you just, like, yeah, the kiddies might like it, but I mean, God damn it, there's the rest of us. Oh my God. I don't even know if it sell toys. Like, I don't know what it was. They must say, just make a movie, man. They were like, the execs was like, let's just make a movie, man. It don't matter what you say. They love Wonder Woman. They'll come just to see Wonder Woman. You know, you could see the execs saying something stupid like that. Because they're not interested in movies. They're just there to do their job. There's nobody passionate about movies. And the person who's passionate about movies that they're going to, Jeff Johns, is misguided. Okay? That is the problem. So, you know, that is what I really. Picochet says drawing hands is hard. Oh, really? You find so? Cool. Truth says, do you think we're getting an announcement on the Snyderverse with DC fandom? No, not at all. Not at all. That's not happening. Not at all. DC fandom, remember, is a vehicle for I almost said Kevin Sushiara. He might be somewhere in the background. You never know. But for guys like Walter Hamada to roll out his plans and his slate. So that's not going to happen at all. Not a chance in hell that's happening. But what will happen before that, I believe, is we will see, or some of us will see, the privileged ones, will see the Snyder Cut in theaters. That's definitely earmarked for June, July, I think it is. So that's going to happen. Now, when it comes to what may happen on May 24th, it's supposed to, May 24th probably, you know, in the UK, supposed to be, you know, another rollout of, I think it is, the actual digital copies and so on of the Snyder Cut. But I'm going to still keep my eye on May 24th just to see what happens. But again, because the guy said restore the Snyderverse and the guy said May 24th, just like that. Boom. Right? Whatever that means. What I can tell you, though, is there is no doubt very, very soon you will be seeing signs, very strong signs of the Snyderverse being in existence. And one of the things we need to do try to accelerate that is try to get the Snyder Cut in theaters. If the Snyder Cut gets in theaters, that's a win for us, a huge win for us. I'm not talking about token charity. No, I mean going in there as a business and making money as a business, the Snyder Cut. And maybe they could still couple it with raising funds for AFSP as well on the side, or whatever charity in your country. But a global sort of launch of the Snyder Cut before the end of this year, that's what people should be pressing for. The air cut's going to come next year for sure. That's happening, because AT&T is going to make sure that happens. Whatever they got to do to get around it, wheel deal, whatever, they're going to make sure that they get that. Okay. Because that's another IP. They need as many IPs as possible. They're gonna get that happen. But with respect to a Snyder Cut, it's important that we get Snyder Cut in theaters globally, and also in the United States. We need to get the Snyder Cut in theaters, in IMAX theaters, and theaters too. We need to get it. We need to get it happening, and that's a push that HBO Max is going to have to do as well again. I think they will do it, and nothing. Warner Brothers can't say shit because they're not putting up the money for that. Picachet says, I'm trying to draw a thumbnail for my next video while listening to you. Okay, cool. All right, so let's keep moving with this Snyderverse thing. So, one, don't believe the bullshit you see out there. Yes, Zack Snyder knows that the execs at Warner Brothers, certain execs at Warner Brothers, don't want him there. Don't get it wrong, though. There are people underneath those executives and so on who want to see the Snyderverse and love what Zack Snyder has been doing. There's a lot, actually, of support Zack Snyder has now. And we even see media and tradespeople, a lot of media and tradespeople also supporting him. Now, I've noticed that certain people in the Snyder Cut movement, there was some conversations that was going on where they were like, man, we just wanted Zack to, why is he leading on the fans like that? And these key people, which is very interesting to see these people come out of the woodwork saying these kinds of things. I'm not going to call names, but I know of at least 3 of them that have been doing this. And they coming out questioning Zack and talking about how, Zack was petty with certain things, how he did. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this about these people in the movement. I think you're talking a little too quickly, first of all. Second of all, because you're coming to judgment that nothing's happening and that, the Snyderverse is not going to be restored or it's not going to be on HBO Max. You are absolutely incontrovertibly wrong about that. I don't have concrete evidence to support that, but I'm pretty sure that's the direction AT&T is going to go, and they're going to make sure that happens. The other thing is that the people who are saying these things, not only are they being premature, but they're also wrong in their assumptions. That Zack is saying things that he can't deliver to the fans and blah, blah. You don't know that, one. And then 2, he's not being petty. Okay? How can he be petty when he traded in getting paid for creative freedom? You can't be petty. The people who breached that are the petty people who's, again, Warner Brothers, these executives. And I'm talking about specific executives to lead certain mindset of people. I mean, Kevin Suchiara is one of those guys who was that kind of mindset. Kevin Suchiara, fucking Toby Emmerich, and Ann Sarnoff. Not so much Walter Hamada. Why I accuse Walter Hamada is because Walter Hamada was brought there to do specific things, which he's doing right now. Balance up the books and clean up the accounts and make movies in a manner which they're conserving their money. This is after a lot of theft and stealing and people filling their pockets for their own advantage, okay? Been pilfering Warner Brothers for the longest while, okay? And Jason Keeler and AT&T, they're just biding their time to make sure that, they destroy themselves, and then they'll just step in and do what they do. But in the meantime, Warner Brothers has been doing a lot of shit, and AT&T has been assisting them and helping them. Remember AT&T had advertised the first Justice League movie, and Warner Brothers had pitched all of this and all this bullshit that they pitched, and at the end of the day, they didn't amount to shit. They didn't do anything well, and AT&T was backing them all then. So you think AT&T, with all these records and all this stuff, was backing them and everything? They're not billing data on these motherfuckers. how they destroyed one of the greatest IPs of DC, which was Justice League. They destroyed it. They fucked it up. And what did AT&T do? They say, no, fair is fair. We backed you when you were pitching your version of Justice League, and Zack Snyder didn't get his chance to pitch his version of Justice League. So they said, fair is fair. He's got to get his chance to pitch his version of Justice League. And it was very successful. So somehow they were able to slap a gag order or something to keep AT&T, and the people from saying what they needed to say. But see, AT&T actually moved smart. They said, you had your chance. We backed you 100%. Okay, now we're going to back Zack 100% and see what happens. And we saw what happened. Okay. And AT&T, obviously AT&T is not very happy with what's going on, right? They have to lay low and not say much. Because again, they're not the people who are assigned to manage Warner Brothers or Warner Media. They have their guy. They have their guy inside there, which is Jason Keeler. He's the guy that represents them on the Warner Media board. Get what I'm saying? But Jason Keeler's not a Warner Media guy. He's a guy from the outside. He's kind of like an outsider watching in at them. You get it? And he's representing kind of like the AT&T arm. He's kind of over. They have him as the overseer of them because they bought out Warner Brothers, get it, and their properties. So he's the overseer, and he's the overseer not just of them, not just of the entertainment aspect, but also of the news outlets and their stadiums and all of that stuff. He oversees a lot of stuff. So he's the ultimate representation of AT&T on Warner Media. You get it? He's an outsider. Jason Keeler, according to Warstu, is a huge fan of Zack Snyder. He loves Zack Snyder's movies, which is another reason we got the Snyder Cut. Jason Keeler was like, oh shit, I gotta see this shit. They need to see this shit. So it happened. Okay. So there's all of that information that you got to factor in. And I'm just saying that there's a lot more going to I know it's business, but obviously Warner Brothers is not doing proper business right now. And I'm talking about, again, those specific people. That's the people say, oh, it's not all Warner Brothers. I know Warner Brothers UK, Warner Brothers Tours, and AT&T, not AT&T, TNT and CNN and JTAP talked about. We get it. All right. When I'm talking about Warner Brothers, I'm specifically talking about the Warner Brothers Pictures arm of Warner Brothers, which is headed by Toby Emmerich, Asaronoff, and Walter Hamada. Okay, I'm not talking about anybody else. Okay, so I'm just saying that they don't want it to happen, and it's stupid because, as I said before, Walter Hamada can do what Walter Hamada does with his universe and with the slate of movies that's coming forward. And like I said before, he has 3 really big movies coming forward. He's got the Flash coming just now. He's got this year. He's got Suicide Squad. He's got the Flash, and then he's got Black Adam. Those are big movies. You know what I mean? And then he got the super pets for the kiddies, like Shazam. You know, and then Shazam 2 is coming up, and Wonder Woman is also coming up. So that's good. It's not bad. It's good. It's not bad. Okay, he's got a good slate of films. Now, why are you trying to stop the Snyderverse? Obviously, the Snyderverse has got stuff that attracts everybody's attention. Because, yeah, Matt Reeves, the Batman film, that's going to be good. A lot of Batman fans going to watch it. And a lot of people are going to enjoy it. And, you know, I put this. It's going to be a film in which people who didn't like Ben Affleck's Batman, they're going to enjoy it. Or they will make themselves enjoy it because they're going to say, this is the canon Batman, right? Even though that don't make no damn sense, right? Batman, Ben Affleck's The Batman, or whatever they call it, because he's going to be fighting off with Deathstroke and all that shit. That's the film everybody wanted to see, right? The fans wanted to see that. That was the next thing that was going to come up. That's what everybody wants, or most people want. Okay. Now, of course, because Matt Reeves is doing a Batman film, of course, people are going to want to see that, and it looks like it's going to be a thriller. So that's great. But me personally, I'm not excited for that. I told you guys I'm excited for Black Adam, and that's about it. I'm not excited for Reeves Batman film. It makes me curious, but it doesn't make me excited. What makes me excited is seeing that fucking Ben Affleck on the screen going up against Deathstroke and Deathstroke kicking his ass. That gets me excited. You know, I hear the movie's bordering on a horror movie, kind of like, because, you know, people get killed and stuff. I want to see that. I want to see it, and I want to see it like yesterday. Okay, and that's supposed to be the next film in the DCEU. If Zack Snyder's films was going on, it would be that, and then obviously Batman makes it out of that alive because, you know, Justice League 2 comes. But I'm just saying that I want to see. For those of you out there, that's what I want to see. AT&T. Yes, we all want to see it. Deathstroke movie would be great too. Nobody's ever seen that. The first time Deathstroke was seen on the screen was in Justice League. Okay. Second time was with Zack, the Snyder Cut. We want to see Deathstroke in action. Oh, absolutely, 100%. Oh, actually, no. Wait. First time we saw Deathstroke wasn't even in a movie. It was with Ben Affleck shooting him. Right? God damn, that was great too. Oh my god, I remember it. Oh man. Oh yes. So, what would the fans like to see? What they want to see: Suicide Squad, followed by Super Pets, followed by what is it? Batman, then followed by shout out to Larry Kong. Yes, man. Yes. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Then what's the next one? What did I say? Batman, and then I think it's Shazam 2 or Wonder Woman or something, and then Black Adam, whatever it is. Which you would prefer, that or the Air Cut? We start off nice and easy. The Batman movie, Deathstroke movie, the Atom, Cyborg, fucking New Gods, and oh, how could I forget? Batman and the Joker, the death of Robin, fucking crazy. And then Justice League 2 and 3. Which do you prefer? Me? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, you serious? Are you serious? So, I mean, it's gotta happen. And the Snyderverse has to clash with the Hamada verse or whoever verse, whatever verse is there. It needs to clash over in that. I can see it happening with The Rock and Black fucking Adam. I can see it happening. Black Adam should be rated R. It needs to be rated R to make sense. Black Adam needs to be rated R, but it's not gonna happen. Not in the Hamada verse. I mean, Harley Quinn's movie was rated R, but it wasn't rated R at the same time. Didn't have a lot of blood and shit. It's gotta be rated R. Real hard rated R. Harley Quinn cuts people's heads off and shit. She doesn't care. Yeah, so anyway, Suicide Squad is gonna be rated R. I believe it's gonna be. You know, Mortal Kombat. All right, so some of y'all are Mortal Kombat fans. But the snippets I saw of Mortal Kombat where I think it was Jax was busting a guy's head and the guy had a hammer in his hand or whatever. That shit looked lame as fuck. You could just bust a guy's head like a watermelon just like that. Come on, man. Like, I don't understand. Like people feel rated R means gory. You know, whatever. Man, people don't even do great fight choreography anymore. You know, it is what it is, man. It is just what it is. It's about making a good film, a good movie. If it has to be rated R, it's be rated R. But it's not about the rated R, man. It's, oh man, it is what it is. All right, so let me go into a couple other things before I get my tail out of here. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, with respect to, you know, the history and everything, we got past that, is that we also have projects that would have been in the Snyderverse but are not anymore. So we have the Flash movie that would have been in the Snyderverse as and proper, but it's in the Hamada verse, and they're doing all kinds of things with the Flash that I just don't like. I don't like the yellow lightning. It's just really hurts my eyes seeing it, and all that yellow with red. Yellow with red works. Is that a thing? You guys like yellow with red? Just it just hurts my eyes. It's not beautiful at all. And maybe Grant Gustin's Flash comes across. I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully, it's a. I don't know. Anyway, so the Flash movie would have been a follow. Would have been one of the follow-up movies uh, to um, Justice League, and then the Wonder Woman movie would have been a follow-up to Justice League, which it was. Wonder Woman 84. That Jeff Johns got his hands on it. Just fucked up. That turned out very well. And then, of course, another follow up to Justice League would have been Aquaman. Wasn't quite a good story either. It's just like it's a alright story, I guess. James Wan, the action was good though. The action was good, but not much of a story. But anyway, those would have been follow-up movies, and of course, different directors and stuff. And just wish Jeff Johns would get his fucking hands off of those pieces of stuff, so we could get some really good stories. Because the stories are so fucking paper thin and disgustingly boring. You know, that's why I want to see the air cut. I think the story is going to be better. And James Gunn, he doesn't write the best stories in the world, but he does have great character development. The one thing you gotta give James Gunn, the characters are what he refused. The stories is like whatever. Stories don't even make sense sometimes. So I don't know if I enjoy the dick jokes, and like I said, Suicide Squad done. It's not my cup of tea. I can tell you that from the get go. You know, there was somebody was looking at uh, Zack Snyder Justice League, right? And this guy, he was talking about the emotional moments and how you don't destroy the emotional moments with a joke. And he was talking about a particular scene he saw in WandaVision or something where they let the emotional moment percolate and resonate with the audience, to, stay there with them instead of cutting it off with a fucking joke, which I hate. I hate when they do that. James Gunn does that a lot. And it's not my cup of tea, to be honest with you. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I liked more than Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And because I knew what James Gunn was doing, it was just these weird, wacky characters, kind of like Looney Tunes break free on the television screen, but it's real people being Looney Tune, That's the way how I see James Gunn's comedy. And anything goes, no holds barred. So I think that's the Suicide Squad he's going for. A kind of lovable, likable, and yet expendable group of people. For me, when I think of Break from Arkham, the Batman Suicide Squad movie, I think the Suicide Squad is more menacing. I think they're savage. It's a group of criminals. That's how I think of the Suicide Squad. And the dynamics between them sometimes is hilarious, but really and truly they're just desperates. It's like a group of kind of like, you know what? When I think of the Suicide Squad, I think of Killer Muppets. That's what I think of. Killer Muppets. I know that sounds terrible, but Killer Muppets, meaning in the twinkling of an eye, they could just turn against each other. In the twinkling of an eye, they can kill each other. In the twinkling of an eye, there's no honor among them. And so, that's how I think of the Suicide Squad. The scenarios that play between them can be funny from a distance. If you're there in the midst of it, it's not funny at all. And I think that's the way how I think of the Suicide Squad when I think of them. How James Gunn is thinking of them is with these one-liners, and it's funny, and it's the Hollywood kind of thing. They throw out these lines, and it's hilarious. But that's not how I see Suicide Squad. I see them as the dynamics between them is funny. But they personally don't think of it as funny. Like for them, it's not funny. And for me, that's the kind of humor I like in movies more than guy trying to pitch a line and be funny with a line. Some lines are funny, but You know, I think more stand-up comedy um, is really great because people are talking, but they are really depicting scenarios and situations and how you presume them. Stand-up comedy is different. You know, it was really good and it was kind of Hollywoodish as well, but it was hilarious. This comedian, his name is Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence was fucking funny in Bad Boys 2. He was hilarious. He was hilarious. It was situational comedy, but he also added his own comedic twist to it. And it was just great. Martin Lawrence is a genius. Um, the Wing It. It's kind of Wing It. You know, it's another funny comedy. Friday. The original Friday. Not Friday 2. Friday. Friday was funny. It was comical. And there's a lot of ad lib in it. To try to do that in a superhero movie is very difficult to do because again the circumstances and the situations do not lend itself to those humorous moments as much as say for example Friday or Bad Boys 2 you know um but what I'm trying to say is it could happen. I mean, I think of the movie that flopped. It was called Hancock with Will Smith. I liked the fact that a superhero, for the first time we saw a superhero who was failing and was trying to be a superhero. And there was a lot to Hancock that I really enjoyed. And to this day, even though Hancock, I think it flucked in the theaters or whatever, people didn't like it. I actually enjoy elements of Hancock. I'm not saying it's the best movie in the world, but it had a great idea behind it. And I just think, these are the kinds of takes and movies that I'm more interested in. I'm not interested in your run of the mill, one liners or great liners, or you're trying to look spectacular or something like that. You could tell they're performing for a camera. I don't really like that. Or they say self-aware movie. It's a self-aware movie. I'm like, fuck that. That's a piece of shit. I don't care about that. I want a movie where the actors sometimes, particularly most of the time, they're not aware that they're in a movie. Even Martin Lawrence versus Will Smith, Bad Boys 2. Martin Lawrence didn't know he was in the movie. You know what I'm saying? He's in the movie. Don't you don't movies like Deadpool only work because Deadpool is that kind of guy. Deadpool and even Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's crazy. Deadpool is self-aware. He just doesn't have any. He doesn't have any boundaries because they can't kill him, right? So Deadpool, breaks that fourth wall, which is really fun to see. Even though I don't really particularly enjoy Deadpool, I have not watched that movie since to this day. I haven't watched the entire movie. I've watched pieces of it, but I've not really watched the movie. And no disrespect to anybody, but that's not my cup of tea. That's just not my sense of humor. I don't really find that funny, you know. Um, so I'm just saying this to say that James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I don't think it's my cup of tea, but I would definitely support it because of James Gunn. I really enjoyed Brightburn. Brightburn scared the shit out of me. To this day, I can't watch everything in Brightburn. It scares me. I really get scared, and that's how scary Superman is. It's a wonderful produced movie by James Gunn. Um, I would love to see James Gunn do actually a much more serious film and see where he goes with that. Because people who do comedy generally can do really good serious dramas as well. So anyway, that's what I got with James Gunn. Suicide Squad. Like I said before, I'm not against the success of movies. That's not me. You pick somebody else. I'll tell you a movie's crap, but it's because I've seen it, and I judged it for myself based on the movie itself. Pick a shades. The only form of media that has done narration perfectly was Dexter. Oh, I haven't seen Dexter yet. I know Dexter's supposed to be like he's kind of always kind of in these illusions and stuff and imagining things and stuff. It was on I forgot what streaming service it was on, and now it's on Netflix, I think. Dexter on Netflix Or is it on HBO Max? It's on HBO Max now, something like that. I heard Dexter was good. I heard so. There's a number of movies I should have seen. Not movies, TV shows, TV series that I should watch. But okay. He said the only form of media that was done narration perfectly was Dexter because it did it in a real time, as the narrator man character's inner monologue, not in past tense yelling, telling someone else. Interesting, interesting, interesting. The show was on Showtime. All right, right. I do want to check out Dexter. I do want to check him out. I check it out because I heard it was an interesting take on things. I actually saw pieces of it, but I never bothered to. It's about a serial killer who hunted other serial killers. Man, some great ideas though. Great ideas. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Well, like I said before, I'm not a guy who blocks creativity and cancel this and cancel that and boycott. I'm not into that stuff. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I'm not gonna do that. I would prefer to just if it doesn't interest me and it's something that I don't really like, I just tell people I'm not going to watch that and that's it. And I don't lament. I don't continue on it. I don't hate on the movie or nothing. You notice Wonder Woman 84. We think the story is shit and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to talk about Wonder Woman 84 and just continue hating on it. That's just not cool. I can point out all the good things about Wonder Woman 84 as well. It's not just, a shit fest where I'm just about going on it. Nah, I don't have time for that. I can understand why people would go in on Batman v Superman so hard. Even the theatrical cut. I saw people pure hate, like fucking, and it's the worst thing ever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck you talking about, man? And I think a lot of people, they hated on the movie because they just didn't understand it. And like they say, people hate what they don't understand. They didn't understand the movie. When I saw the theatrical cut, I got it. Because I understood this movie. It wasn't jumping from place to place. It was moving in a cyclical pattern. It was looping this way. Like I said, it was doing a spiral. I actually enjoyed that because I was like, man, everybody always wanted this fucking lineal storytelling. It's gotta be lineal. I gotta be able to follow it. This follows that and follows that. And I was like, damn, this is avant-garde. I love this. And it's just going in a circle instead of going straight from point A to point B. I loved it. And I was figuring it out. And I was like, I watched that movie 10 times in the cinema. I repenteth not. I loved it, and I was able to fill in the gaps. I was like, yeah, of course, kryptonite. And so when people were saying like, oh man, how did he able not to see through the chair? I was like, well, kryptonite. Superman can't see through kryptonite. This is kind of common sense. He's Superman. What do you expect? Like where everybody needed to hear that. It was like, oh, there it is. He unlanded in his chair. I'm like, I knew that. The only part that really confused me was the nightmare scene when he was saying, because I couldn't hear what Flash was saying. The first time I heard it, I was like, what is he saying? He's like, I was like, what the fuck is he saying, though? I had to go up and Google it. I Googled it, and a couple weeks after, I was like, oh, he's saying that Batman, Lewis is the key. What happened to Lewis? I was like, you know what Batman v Superman made me do? It made me do so much research. I started searching for different things that I didn't understand in the movie. And I'm a researcher by nature, so I like to research. So I was like going everywhere. I was looking at everything. And back then, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was like a DC Universe online thing where you could go and see the Batcave on Google Maps, and you could find out more about Lex Luthor. And there was a machine, there was a Brainiac machine, and it was like, oh shit, is Brainiac in fucking BVS? I don't know if you guys remember all of this. So I started researching things. I was going all over Google trying to figure out this thing. And I found out so much shit about BVS. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was like looking back at that movie like in awe. I was like, God damn, this movie's crazy. and just the concepts, so many concepts above and below, the American Revolution, for fucking crying out loud, Superman and the iconography of the character and what it represents, and just so much shit I started researching off of one freaking movie. And then I was defending the movie like crazy because what a lot of people don't know, most people thought the movie was a 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, and everybody said that the critics were too hard on the movie. Everybody, to this day, a lot of people say that. And the worst ever movie ever, a comic book movie of all time, that was the trades. That was, I can't believe I'm saying this, it was fucking Warner Brothers, Kevin Tsuchihara and company, who were spreading that shit from within. I remember Kevin Smith going in on the movie, John Schnapp going in on the movie, buying into that bullshit. Oh, it's got so many plot holes, and I was like explaining every single plot hole. I was like explaining it, like, are you retarded? Like, dude, that's retarded, man. Come on now, you know. And for me, at least, it was a great experience because I had gotten roped in by Man of Steel, as you know. Anyways, so not to go off course here, the point behind it was that I was trying to say was that BVS and all of these movies that Zack Snyder did were making tons of money. Of course, I haven't seen the theatrical cut in like a long time. By the way, I only watched the Ultimate Cut. I got the Ultimate Cut digitally on Google Play. I got the Ultimate Cut. And I got the digital cut of Man of Steel as well. So those two cuts are there, and I'm just waiting for the Snyder cut so I could put my collection together digitally. I don't have time for physical cuts and DVDs and all that kind of bullshit anymore. I just keep everything on my phone. So with respect to streaming, I know it's the future. You know what I mean? Estelle Javille. Oh my God, my cousin's up in here. I like Dexter. Hey, you know what? I didn't see Dexter though. But you have seen it. That's great, man. That's great. I gotta go watch that movie. Yeah, so like I was saying, man, the Snyder Cut, man. Listen. All I'm saying is, I'm surprised all these people are watching this thing. That the Snyder Cut it's not over with the Snyder Cut. It's the beginning with the Snyder Cut. That's all I'm saying to people. And we're gonna get probably David Ayer's Suicide Squad is gonna come next. Everybody agrees on that. Even Prime agrees on it. Prime said, yeah, definitely Suicide Squad's next. Suicide Squad's probably next after. And it makes sense. David Ayer's James Gunn's Suicide Squad's coming out. So I think that David Ayer's Suicide Squad could come out after that. And a lot of people saying, well, no, Walter Hamada won't allow that to happen, blah, 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 blah. I told you Emmerich, and Sarnoff, and I'm like, I'm telling you, they don't have really much of a say in this. Because unless they can provide content to fill up HBO Max's new content, they can't really say much. Because HBO Max is going to need content in between those movies. Those big movies, they're going to need content. People are not going to watch the same old thing. And yes, they will have Doom Patrol, and yes, they will have Green Lantern series that'll launch at some time, maybe 2 years from now. But in the interim, they don't have nothing. They don't have anything to fill that gap. Like there's a lot of empty gaps. That's why HBO Max is doing rehashing of old material and old movies and stuff. There's a lot of space there for content. So there's no way that's not coming. The Ayer cut's coming, people. I'm telling you, man, this universe is going to have all the stuff that you wanted. You're gonna get. You're gonna get it. Walter Hamada is gonna get to do his stuff. AT&T is gonna make everybody happy because Hamada is gonna get to do his Hamadaverse. Hamada doesn't want the theaters. He doesn't want anything from the Snyderverse on the theaters, but he's not gonna have his way. I believe that AT&T, they're not gonna put. Obviously, Warner Bros. Pictures is not gonna put up any money. AT&T and HBO Max is going to be the ones to foot the bill for the moment, but they'll make back their money. They probably made back their money with the Snyder Cut already. Okay, they probably made their $70 million and some already with the Snyder Cut back, just based on rentals and sales abroad. Okay. And yes, they don't get a big slice of that because the distributors or whoever think they get a chunk of it, but they probably made back their money already with that. So the Snyder Cut, that's probably done very, very well. And all I'm saying is, obviously that was a big home run for us as fans who support the Snyder Cut, who want the universe restored. Um, I need to look at some more movies. I still haven't watched Tenet. There's so many good movies out there. Really, I should be watching, but I just haven't been watching them. Tenet, Dexter is a TV series. I might even watch WandaVision because I heard it's kind of interesting. Or even, I might even watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, the series, binge watch it. But I don't think I can. I don't want to just subscribe to any old thing. You know what I mean? And just be spending money unnecessarily. I don't want to spend money unnecessarily. And I'm not really a movie person. Like this thing got me because it's like, oh yes, I could see Jesus. I could see Jesus and the apostles and blah 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 blah. So it kind of roped me in. Zack Snyder roped me because I think Zack Snyder pulls a lot of Christ stuff, like he did the mother box thing where the iconography is literally the saints, like the different disciples and stuff, and he was pulling from that, and then Virgin Mary, like literally the poses and everything was like that, what I mean? So anyway, so yeah, so basically, anybody tells you the Snyderverse is not happening, they're lying to you. There's just too much reason for it to happen that it will happen, right? For those people who, okay, so I'm not really into zombie movies either. It's not really my thing. But because Zack Snyder is doing Army of the Dead, and I'm really interested in how it ties into the Snyderverse, because obviously he's put all these Easter eggs in there. He's got the Omega symbol that was on the gentleman who had the chainsaw thing. He had his his film in a rack inside of the inside of the inside of the bank vault. And then of course $20 million. They're going in for $20 million. And what is they? They're all in, right? To bring $20 million out, right? And I'm laughing. I'm like, yeah. I got you, Zach. I see what you're saying there. That's how much it'll cost for the next Justice League movie. Man. Because Zach likes to put those little Easter eggs and things in there. And so you're like scrutinizing everything Zach does. So and then who is the leader of the zombies? Zeus. He's just like you can tell he's giving all these odes to the old gods and Justice League and stuff. So I'm like kind of like I'm like, you know what? I might just watch this movie. I know Zach always tells something else. He's always saying something else about us, humanity, and about our nature and trying to inspire us to make the right choices, right? Everything's always about choice, right? So I would like to see how that may pan out in this zombie movie. But I don't. Do you really have high expectations or hopes for any zombie movie? I really don't really have much expectations or hopes for any zombie movie. Like a zombie movie, wow, how much? Like Dragon. What was it? World War Z or whatever. Who cares? I'm like, okay. But of course, people are kind of like zombies in a way. They're like living dead. Jesus once said, just to pull from scripture just for a second, he said, let the dead bury the dead. People are walking around like zombies. They have no meaning to life, and they're just there, and they're just kind of existing, right? And then because they don't have any purpose, right? So I can get it. Zach always uses a lot of metaphors, so I can see how that can. Anyway, but yeah, Army of the Dead. I think it's coming out on the 14th in certain cinemas, and on the 21st of May it will come out on Netflix. So I gotta rent it or something off of Netflix or whatever. I don't know if I'm gonna subscribe, but Hey, it depends. I mean, I got the Netflix thing on my phone, so maybe I will watch it on my phone or on a TV screen or something. I don't know. I do want to have a movie night with my cousins. That is my cousin, actually, Estelle, that just came through there. I do want to have a movie night with my cousin, but generally speaking, I don't really just like watching movies for watching movies' sake, as you guys already know. I really like to take certain things from a movie as a take-home message and say, well, this is what we take home from this, or whatever, you know. So, and try and apply it to a daily life. It's like very inspirational thing that I've taken from Justice League was the fact that internally, you know, sometimes we want to prove to ourselves certain things, right? Because we haven't yet accomplished them. And what we have to understand is there's a process to it. So, except I love to use the Flash because the Flash scene is the best of them all. If you look at the Flash, even when he was removing the debris from the people, guess what? He didn't do a perfect job. Because if Cyborg didn't blast that debris, they were still going to get hit with the debris that came off from the top of the building, right? So at the end of the day, he didn't do a good job there. When he was saving Iris, right? He saved Iris, great. The car still catapulted down the road, and that could have killed a whole bunch of people. It exploded. The truck was going crazy still down the road, slamming into cars and stuff. We don't know what happened to the driver. My point being, he didn't do a perfect job there either. When he was supposed to run around in a circle, build up charge, and then zap Cyborg, so sending him into the mother box, guess what? He didn't do a perfect job there either. And the world got exploded, and everybody got killed. But at that very moment, he had something to prove to himself. Nobody else would know unless he told them. And he stepped up to the plate. And at that very moment, when it was most important, he talked to himself, he encouraged himself, and he moved forward, and he was able to accomplish perfectly what he should have done. What I'm trying to say to you guys is, and we've learned this from the Snyder Cut and from the Restore the Snyderverse, etc., from all the battles that we have with each other on Twitter and all that. Things don't work out perfectly the first time, all the time. Sometimes it doesn't even work out perfectly at all. You know what I mean? And does that mean you quit? Does that mean you give up? Okay, so whatever persuasion you have, I could talk about it from a Christian perspective and talk about a Christian, you fall 100 billion times, whatever. Do you give up, right? But I prefer to look at it a little bit broader. In life, period, life is messy, and you may try to do something and get discouraged. People can talk back and say, you can't do that, whatever. And you still try, and within yourself, you try and you disappoint yourself 100 million times, right? Guess what? This movie showed a glorious moment that happened. A glorious moment that happened because this guy, in spite of his bumblings and his failures, persisted. And he got inspired. It was a critical moment, by the way. He got inspired to exceed himself. Now, how does that happen? It depends on how you look at it. And with the case of Flash, it was the Speed Force. The Speed Force was always there. Now, what's interesting about the Speed Force is I can talk about another force, the Holy Spirit. He's always there. See, I can talk about it from a Christian perspective if I want to. And the Holy Spirit, in this case, is always there. But you still make the mistakes. You still trip up. You still slip up. You're still not doing great. But, ladies and gentlemen, it comes that time when you will step up to the challenge and you will walk into what you were made to do. So, I like to tell a lot of people in this messy life the walk called life. Yes, You will trip, you will slip, you will fall, you will bust your face, you will get slapped, and all kinds of things will happen. You'll be considered a villain. Some people will think you've gone astray, blah, 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 whatever. But you're not going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to talk to yourself. Because nobody's going to be around for that critical moment in time, like happened with the Flash. And you're going to have to encourage yourself. And the Holy Spirit will be there to carry you to the next level. Now, all of what I just said there, it doesn't exactly work like that. But the point is, this movie captured something spiritual that I wanted to share with you guys. It was very spiritual because what did the Flash encourage himself with? Was it with his words? No. It was with his father's words. And his father figure words. And we encourage ourselves with our father's words, whether it's your literal father or your creator God father, or the founding principles of which you grew up with. Going back to basics, they call it. But a sense of divinity is important. My divinity comes from somewhere. I wasn't just born with this divinity that I called forth. Be divine, and I became divine. No, it doesn't matter. That divinity came from somewhere. The Flash's divinity came from where? Above. You know, the above and below. I don't want to go too technical on you guys. I don't want to get too spiritual on you guys right now, because I don't want to be talking what I don't walk. So what I'm saying to you guys is, the lightning came from above, came down, struck Flash. And that's how he became the Flash, right? It came from above. So the point is, with this divine, I gotta figure out the right word for that. With this divine mandate that he had, and this gift that he got, I think those are the correct words to use. He was able to do what he did, but it didn't just happen. Oh, he got the gift and now he's able to do this. No, it didn't work like that. There was a lot of failings. There was a lot of stumbling and falling before he was able to be what he was. It's a process. Most of the time. Maybe you've been prepped before. Because sometimes people see somebody instantaneously start to walk in the walk of, I know their purpose and everything, but it was a process that was happening way, way before, but you weren't seeing it. Whether they were whatever, right? It was a process. They were being, what is the word I'm looking for? They were being nourished. That's the word I'm looking for. They were being nourished. Yeah. So regardless of what your background is, my point is that at the end of the day, what Zach is trying to get to you guys, and I guess is the thing that my mission on earth is as well, is how to work better in, because there's a lot of unknowns and we don't know what the future holds for us, particularly at any particular point in time. Like even now, point to point, we assume things are going to be the same way, but you never know what could happen, right? Something could happen right now that you wasn't considering. I'll just throw one at you guys, and don't be afraid. Don't be scared because I say it. An earthquake could happen right now, right? Just like that. Nobody's thinking of an earthquake happening, but it could happen, right? So my point is that I'm just showing you how the variables of life are so varied. Anything can happen, right? Right now, electrical fuse could blow out and all the light in my house could just disappear and it could be pitch black like that. Or anything could happen. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, there was two negative things. A positive thing could happen as well. Like I could just suddenly just realize that I won $1 million. Don't ask me how. Somebody in for me in something. I'm just saying anything can happen in life. But what is likely and what is unlikely is what we can count on. Like I'm having this conversation with you because I think it's highly unlikely that X, Y, and Z would happen, right? Okay, so, but the point is that, you know, anything can happen. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is it's not predictable. And since it's not predictable, we don't have all the answers to everything. We just don't. And the sooner we come to that understanding we don't have all the answers, is the sooner we're going to want to learn and listen and just grow with each other. Be more reasonable with each other when we're having conversations, because sometimes people feel they really know everything, or sometimes we feel we know what we don't really know much about, quite frankly. But it's nice to express ourselves even though we don't really know what we're talking about. It's the first step. A baby just babbles, right? Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I truly believe that you guys have what it takes to really do things special in this world. You have it. You have it in you, and it's to get it out. And the beautiful thing about it is, once you continue along the lines of striving to do good things for people and not just for yourself, you're going to get at some point there. That's the truth about it. I don't care what background you come from. If you're, pushing towards that direction, sincerely, you're going to get there, because the information that is necessary to present to you concerning what you're striving towards will be presented to you. Whether you accept it or reject it is another story, but it will be presented to you. You get that shot. You get your shot, your fair shot. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm just saying, we got all kinds of people out here, all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of stories. You know what would be nice one day for you guys to tell some of your stories concerning, maybe let's just stick it with movies for a minute. What kind of movies you may like, and how either you saw your experiences in a movie, or how the movie impacted you to kind of influence how you actually behaved in life. That would be a great thing for us to talk about. But anyway, it's 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 33 seconds. I have a lot more I want to talk about with respect to the Restore the Snyderverse, but I will call it a piecemeal of the day. And I'm sorry if I've been messy in sense of cursing and swearing. That's not my thing, really. I don't really like cursing and swearing. That's something that should not be part of my vocabulary. So I know what I should do. But as Paul says sometimes, I know I shouldn't do that, but I still do it. I must be damned. But no, you're not. Thank God for his mercy and grace. But anyways, let me get to a piece of scripture I want to read to you guys, and then I'm out of here. Or maybe not. I do want to talk about one more thing. This is a whole bunch of stuff actually I still want to talk about, but this one thing I want to talk about with respect to another very important point. I was watching a lot of these verifieds on Twitter are talking about why they need to get, hey, Estelle, yeah, I love you too. No, you keep fighting till the end. Of course you keep fighting till the end. What else can you do? I mean, life is a thing where you either pursue what you believe, or you don't. So the fight is to continue to pursue what you believe, in spite of the fact that other things may show you that it's not true. You know, um, and we speak of it in terms of war language, fight, and so on. But it's some people get the wrong impression, and then they say, "Oh, well, I need to literally fight. That means I need to go kill that guy." No, 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 no. We're not talking about that, people. We're not talking about that. We're talking again. It's more to yourself. It's not even a battle with any person or any establishment or organization. Usually it's a battle to believe within your own mind and within yourself as a person. And the struggle is real. A lot of us know that. A lot of us right now are struggling with depression because a lot of us are inside of the, indoors in the COVID environment. And so a lot of us, lost our jobs or whatever. So it is a stressful thing, and it's a struggle within you, within your person. It's more of an internal thing than it's external. It's a struggle within you to move forward or to focus on what it is that you may want to do with yourself, right? For other people, it's not that, certain areas, certain things, everybody have their own struggles of their own kinds, right? So anyway, let me go to Timothy. First Timothy. I love this. So I'm going to talk about how you can boost yourself in a struggle. And like the Flash, who does not use his words, but he recaps his father's words, here I'm going to recap the words, some ancient words written a couple thousand years ago and translated through a human being from what we consider the creator. Me. When I say we, I'm talking about Christians. So this is a particular one that I want to read here. It's if you want to, you can check it out for yourself. First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2. I'm not going from verse 1. You could do that though. For kings and for all in authority, we give supplications and prayers and intercessions that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all goodness and in all honesty. I love this scripture because, there's a saying, it's good to be heard, but not seen. I really feel like this scripture summarizes that. And heard and not seen. What I mean by that, God's like that actually. You can feel him, you can watch the actions that he does, but you can't see him, right? We can't see God. I mean, you could see God with your mind, but you can't really see him with your physical eye. You know what I mean? So I'll read it again just for everybody's benefit. It's 1 Timothy 2, verse 2. It says, for kings, that's people with authority, and for all in authority, we give supplication and prayers and intercessions, giving thanks that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in all goodness and honesty. And what more could you ask for? You want to live a life where you're straight with people as you possibly can and straight with yourself. And you want to be living a life where you're as honest as possible, straight as possible, and as peaceable as possible. You're not trying to wage war with people, a warmonger. You're not trying to cause confusion. You're not trying to agitate people or hurt people, but trying to be peaceable. And you're trying to pray for as many people as possible. That's what we put on a planet, man. We put on a planet to better each other as much as we can. It's not something you can. I don't believe, at least, that you're put on a planet for yourself. I just don't believe that. It's important to be on the planet for yourself, and the struggle is always to balance that. You have to take care of yourself to be, But at the same time, it's about helping as much as, where you can. Don't try to go out your way and strain yourself and kill yourself to help somebody. What I mean by that is, don't kill yourself to help another person and you're not helping yourself. That's, again, imbalance. You have to do both. And I don't know what anybody here is going through in their personal life, because I don't know anybody here personally like that. But what I can say is that in this journey, which we all share, it's common. We all share very much common things. Sometimes some of us say, oh, man, I'm going through this, but I can't let everybody else know. Dude, that's dumb. everybody shares in the common same things. It's like, what are you trying to hide from? Everybody goes through stuff. Everybody, everybody goes through stuff. And you'll be surprised how common your issue is. Just from the Snyder Cut, you're not alone. You know, AFSP, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I keep on repeating it over and over. That's a very good foundation because we don't want people to die. We don't want that's not a pleasant thing. Nobody thinks you don't want to hear that somebody's died. That's not cool. And so, um, different people suffer with depression different ways. Different people vent different ways. If you find yourself, you know, you feel like it's not, you can't go on, then please contact your local um, suicide hotline or foundation so you can talk to somebody. Because generally speaking, it's just that some people are kind of to themselves and sometimes they're socializing with other people, but somewhere in your mind you thought life isn't worth it anymore. And when that kind of gets to that point where, you know, for whatever reason you're desiring to die instead of live, um, I would suggest that you talk with somebody who might be able to at least listen to you. They may not understand, but listen to you and your situation, because you know it can be tough. I know because I tried to kill myself, like I said before. I did. I never thought I would want it, but I was put in a situation where just couldn't see, for me at least, I couldn't see myself going on with the situation and myself going on with life. So it happens. And even the best of us, under certain circumstances, we would be pushed to decide whether we want to live or die. I mean, I can go through many things. My mom was in great pain. You think she wanted to live like that for the rest of her life? Hell no. There are circumstances, situations where people really would love their lives to end and they desire death. And just in case people think that, oh, that's because you're not with God. Well, Job wanted to die. So let's not go there. Okay? Job wanted to die, and he was a very righteous guy. So, no, if there are circumstances, and let me just say, this is common sense, okay? If you find yourself in a position where you prefer to die than live, it's because you're kind of managing the situation. You're saying in your mind, oh man, I don't know. I don't. That's why I could see, like, people like Zack Snyder's daughter, you know, I could see why she ended her life. I could see it now. For a lot of other people out there, oh, no, I would never do that. Okay, whatever. I thought so too. But you find that there's a point at which you just can't I can't continue like that. I can't go on. And that's where it starts to happen. So you have to be able to be with somebody who can actually give you the time to be able to get past that. It's very tough, okay? And it's not easy. And the people who are given to depression, it's very exceptionally hard for them, and need somebody who can really listen. People who can really, they're attentive, they really can listen to you, and help you, because it's not going to happen overnight. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not something that just happens. Estelle Jarvel says, love you, cuz, read the scripture. I did. Wow. Anyways, people, um, there was a time when I wasn't the guy that was laughing. This was not funny. Now it's funny to me, but it wasn't funny, not too long ago. And it's because, again, like I said before, it's a point in time where that can happen to you, where you can be in a state of mind where you're depressed. Some people take medication for it. Some people, because their the chemical balance is a bit off, and you can feel when something's off with your life and yourself. Like even me, was what I think a couple weeks ago, I was telling my neighbor, man, I wasn't feeling like myself. Like I was like, man, something was off, man. And because I was moving around doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it happens to us. It happens to you all. It's a state of mind. It can happen because of your surroundings where you're in. What I always suggest to people for depression's sake, if you find yourself getting depressed, it's probably because you're in an enclosed space where you're not getting enough oxygen as well. I know it sounds physical and it sounds really stupid, but sometimes you just need to go outside. Not everybody likes to go outside. Not everybody likes to go outside. So that's another thing. But you go outside and just inhale some fresh air because that's what works for me. Doesn't mean it works for everybody. Some people get actually more depressed when they go outside. They're like, oh my God, the sun is hot. Oh, I can feel the grass is picking at me. Oh, that wind is too cold. It's chilly and stuff like that. So it depends on who you're actually dealing with. I dealt with a couple people that did not help their situation. But yeah, I go outside to get some fresh air, some more oxygen, and it really boosts me because these last couple of days have been overcast, but for the most part, it's generally sunny days, and the sunny days, the sun perks you up. It literally perks you up. If you're a person who's used to the sun, at least it perks you up, and then you find yourself out there really enjoying it and doing a lot of things that you probably wouldn't be doing otherwise. So, but I wanted to talk about this. Ooh, wait, 43 minutes. What happened? Did this thing just recycle? Picochet said, as I said in my Witcher video, the landscape of the show made me feel like going hiking in the woods and open plains. Oh yeah, The Witcher, dude. I got a lot catching up to do. I really need to watch The Witcher, that whole series with Henry Cavill, right? Yeah, people. I don't know what happened to my timepiece. My timepiece was on 2 hours and something, and all of a sudden it's become 43 minutes and something. So I guess. I laughed it. Man, can I talk? Hey, but I seen you guys. I seen one. I seen one Snyder cut. What is it called? One Snyder cut. What do you call it? Shit. One of the Snyder cut. Like talks that went for 7 hours, Ninja. I mean, I talk boxing too. I've done one. I've been on one stream for 8 hours with boxing. That was about a while back, about last year or the year before, because I don't really. But gosh, darn it, man. Freaking 7 hours, Ninja, talking about stuff. And you guys were just talking on there because what else you got to do in the COVID, right? So, yeah. But you guys could talk. Some of you guys could really talk. I mean, I could talk. I could talk pretty long. But I mean, some of you guys could really talk. Anyways, my people, let me wrap it up right here. I'm find out what's new with Snyder Cut. I guess I gotta go eat something. I haven't eaten anything for the whole day, and it's not a problem. I feel actually very good, which is not necessarily what you should do. I eat. For those of you, I know this is just irrelevant, but nonetheless, I eat 2 meals a day. 2 meals a day. I cook some food right there. I'm gonna go eat it. 2 meals a day. I don't really like eating 3 meals a day. I drink water in between. So the Snyder Cut is, I think, the precursor to the Snyderverse. No matter what WB or the trade say, it's coming. It's coming. The thing that I would say though is, don't expect everything to come all at once. It's just not. That's not the way how life works. The fact that certain execs were just against it to start with means it's not just all going to come out just when like that. It's not just, so you have to let it have some time to let some time pass. We have the Suicide Squad that has to come out, and it doesn't make sense for David Ayer's Suicide Squad to come out before James Gunn's. It just doesn't make any sense to me, at least. I don't know. That's my opinion. You guys should check out also. You know who else has some good stuff on it? Cape Cast. Check out Cape Cast. They're more geeks, and they like all kinds of movies, particularly comic book movies. But Cape Cast is good. there's a channel I should be hailing out besides Pick of Shades. Um, I forgot what the name of the channel. Oh yes. He's also on Twitter actually. But I can't remember his name right now. I'm subscribed to him, and a couple of other. Zeverfet is another good channel. Um, Zeverfet and there's a couple other small channels that I am now trying to invest my time and energy in when they stream. But it's nice to have all you guys on here. I will be streaming via StreamYard soon. Now, the only thing with it is, I wish I could do like what these other guys are doing on their StreamYards, in that they're streaming, and then they could, put share whatever's on their screen on their stream. They could share it, and StreamYard's really great for that. But on the phone so far, on a phone, you can't stream. You can't stream and share your screen at the same time for some reason. The other thing I really miss is where I could step away from the stream, and search for things while I'm streaming as well at the same time on a phone. I had one phone that could actually do that, but this phone can't do it. So it is what it is. But this phone is really good. I love these phones. I love phones actually. I don't really want to go back to iPads. I don't want to go back to a laptop. I don't want to go back to those stuff. I want to just have a phone, and the phone can do everything. Really awesome what these phones can do. Um, the technology is crazy, and this is not the best of the phones. This is just a cheap little phone, and I just like it though. I like it. I like. Sounds funny, but I like phones, but not for calling lists. Everything else that these smartphones can do, I like them. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I got for now. Shout out to my cousin. So you guys just saw my cousin there. That's Estelle. And then we got Pick of Shades was up in here, Leroy Kong. We also had the Truth 31 that was up in here. I gotta go check out your feed as well. Truth, I support you. And you're doing really great things. I love that you keep on saying restore the Snyderverse, because it's gonna happen, people. And we'll make sure that it happens. Yeah, so I'll catch you guys later from where I'm at. To you guys, much love. Hey, you know what? Another thing, the Truth did this. He broke down. Guys, go check out the Truth channel. By the way, go check out the Truth 31 channel. If you haven't checked out the Truth 31 channel, check it out. He really has a lot of people, and it's really fun to see all of these people from all around the world, all around wherever America, kind of chatting with him. And the nice thing about these things is you can have like all these different people come up, and I'll do a StreamYard, and we'll talk with the different people about that. But what I want to do is something like what the Truth did, but a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all of the DCEU movies that have come so far. So we've had Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, we had Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, we had Justice League, then we had Aquaman, then we had Shazam, then we had Harley Quinn, and help me out here, and then we had Wonder Woman 84, right? And then we had the Snyder Cut, right? All the DCEU films we've had so far, we're going to go through each and every one of them, and we're going to actually look at them all. Which means I'll have to go watch them, which is, anyway, but the Truth, he went through the trilogy, Zack Snyder's trilogy, and that was it. But I want to go through every single one of them, and what we're going to do is going to find out what the moral of the story is. How does this pertain to you and I, if there's anything that pertains to you and I think there's. Take home message, and then we're going to critique them if you want to as movies. If you like them, if you didn't like them, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, a movie must tell something. If it tells you something, it doesn't matter if you like it or you don't like it. Once you get what it's telling you, and if it's something you can use, you use it. If it's not something you can use, then it is what it is. But ultimately, I do think Wonder Woman 84 had a really good message in that you shouldn't take shortcuts, and nothing really good comes from lies. And we see it right now playing out with Warner Brothers right now and the Snyderverse, right? So I just wanted to leave that with you guys. And here's one more thing I want to ask you guys. So in terms of okay, in terms of the Hamadaverse, right? Or let's just say not the Hamadaverse per se, but movies that will be kind of headed by DC Films, which is headed by Walter Hamada. Which one or which ones are you most excited for seeing? Is it is it going to be the Suicide Squad that's coming out this August, I believe it is? Is it the Flash movie that's coming out next year, 2022? Is it the Batman movie that's coming out 2022? Is it Shazam 2 that's coming out 2022? Wonder Woman 3 is coming out 2023, is it? Black Adam that's coming out 2023, I believe. I can't remember how they go. Which one, the Hamadaverse, are you most excited for seeing? Let's start with that. And then the other question is, which one of the Snyderverse movies are you most excited for seeing? Is it going to be the David Ayer Suicide Squad that will be coming out? The Batman movie that's coming out? Is it Deathstroke movie that's coming out? Would it be the Atom or the Cyborg movies? Or would it be the New Gods movie? Or would it be Justice League 2 and 3? Give me your top three, right? Because again, I believe these two universes can coexist. I think the stories are being told are worthy stories to be told. Super Pets, I forgot Super Pets. Don't forget Super Pets. um, and they'll meet different demographics and different audiences. Some people like certain things. Some people like Superman with his undies on the outside. Some people don't. I'm one of those who don't. Some people like the Flash, Grant Gustin's version of the Flash. Some people like Ezra Miller's version of the Flash. I mean, some people like, Supergirl and the, version of that universe Supergirl existed. Some people don't, right? So everybody has a different taste in entertainment content, visual entertainment content. Different people have their different, taste in movies. Okay, so why not have both? Why not have the Hamadaverse? He's going, and I always feel more is better sometimes. Like the Snyderverse definitely, um, promoted Flash and the Flash movie very, very well. So there's a lot of momentum going into it. I think a lot of people want to see the Flash movie because they saw Ezra Miller's Flash on display, and that's great. Um, I'm sure a lot of people want to see a Cyborg movie because of how fantastic Cyborg was in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Obviously, people will want to see a Batman movie. Some people will want to see the Joker-Batman relationship. Some people want to see a Deathstroke movie. All of these were streamed off the New Gods movie because we saw Darkseid, Steppenwolf. Like, I don't understand why WB canceled their New Gods movie. I mean, you should have, like, that. Like, the Snyder Cut just promoted everybody. Like, he promoted the Green Lantern stuff. He promoted Martian Manhunter. We know there's a deleted Green Lantern scene that needs to be seen with Kilowog and John Stewart. We need to really see it. Wayne T. Carr, I want to see him. I think we will get to see it. I know Zack Snyder said on Vero that it's probably not possible that we're going to get to see that, but he says he has a rad photo of it, of Wayne T. Carr's Green Lantern, so I would love to see that. I just think that maybe they still have to do CGI effects or whatever, but I would love to see all these things, I think that we as fans, we're not about, oh, cancel that. No, we're fans, so we want to see everything. We want to see as much, especially things we like. We want to see those things. There's nothing wrong with wanting to see something, and that's where we as fans, we do well. When we say restore the Snyderverse, we want this, we want that, that's good. That's not bad. That's not negative. That's not toxic, but it's toxic to me, my opinion, when you're saying cancel this, boycott that. Dude, why? Why? Some people want to go see these movies. Why must they cancel? Why? And if they're not, they're bad, or you shouldn't let Warner Brothers. Listen, like, dude, this is entertainment, dude. Dude, it's entertainment. If they don't do well, people won't go see it. But if people are going to see a movie, I'm not mad at them. I don't care. I may not even like the movie. So what? You got to respect people. You know what I liked about one of the guys that was on the Truth channel? He was like, man, I don't like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like Batman v Superman. I didn't like Man of Steel. I don't like that version of Superman that Zack Snyder has. But you know something? That's not to deprive other people of them enjoying that Superman. If that's your thing and you like that Superman, fine. And I find that's the way how you conduct yourself. You just, and especially if you don't like some guys say, I don't like Ben Affleck's Batman. And so what? There's nothing wrong with that. You don't like it, you don't like it. Not everybody's gonna like a particular version of a superhero. You may see a superhero a certain way, or you've been raised to look at a superhero a certain way. And so that's how you see it. And I can understand people saying, well, and this is the thing I was trying to say. They were saying, Ben Affleck's Batman, that's an Elseworld Batman. That's not a real Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman is a real Batman. And I'm like, why do you think so? Well, he kills. I'm like, all Batman kill. Every single iteration of Batman that I know of, every single iteration that has been in live action has killed. Every single one of them. So what do you mean that, well, Ben Affleck, he killed more people? I'm like, no, the Batman that killed the most people in live action is Michael Keaton's Batman. Michael Keaton's Batman is the bloodiest Batman on the screen. Ben Affleck's Batman was brutal. Don't get me wrong. He was a brutal Batman. But he didn't kill as many people as Michael Keaton's Batman did. All right. And Christopher Nolan's Batman killed in the same film where he said he had one rule. He killed in that movie multiple times. Also, he also killed in The Dark Knight Rises after that movie. So he's been killing since Batman Begins. Okay, so those people saying, Batman doesn't kill. Oh, hold on a second, my brother's coming. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to catch you guys later. I could keep on going forever. So you guys have a great day. Let me see if I can just get in contact with my brother here.